Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PUDcast with Jason and Mike. I'm Jason.
I'm Mike.
And we're coming to you from the Pud Cave, located right here in Game Swap in beautiful downtown Lincoln in the great state of North Carolina. Mike, what's going on, brother?
It is Sunday morning.
Bro, a little dreary this morning.
Yeah, I think that's a good setting for this episode.
I was going to say, man, it's almost like it was destiny. But you know, Mike, before we get too into it, dig that new intro music, bro.
Hey, man, that is solid.
Dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
Once again, man, we got to give a special shout out and a special thank you and a show of appreciation to the one and only my good friend, Mr. Phil Velia. You know, Mike, last week I kind of teased that he was working on a project for us.
Right.
That was the project, bro.
Man, that is solid. That is on point.
That just took us, once again, it seems like every week, Mike, we level up. One way or another, we're leveling up.
Absolutely.
And this week, Phil came in. Phil can do everything. I mean, you know, I'm not just here bragging on him, blowing smoke because he did us a favor. I mean, I'm being completely and honest to God, true right here, honest as I can be. The man can do anything. He's a musician. He's a writer. He's an artist. Man, the man does it all. He does it all. And Phil, if you're out there listening, thank you, brother.
Absolutely,
thank you so
man.
much.
That was it's amazing.
Yeah, it blew me away. I swear to God, Mike, when he first sent it, I probably listened to it 5-6 times in a row.
Yeah.
And every time, I mean, I'm just over here grinning ear to ear. And you know, Mike, you know, even last week we went up a level because we introduced to the Puds out there in Pudville our new assistant.
Absolutely.
You know, we couldn't just deal with any assistant, man. We've got standards here in the Pud Cave.
We do.
And we searched, man, high and low.
No, that's the question. We do.
Oh. Well,
okay,
sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. For this segment, yeah, man. I guess. But you got a good point there, brother. But you know, man, we searched all in Lincoln County. We searched in the city. We searched in the state of North Carolina, the great state of North Carolina, the greatest nation in the world. You know, America, the United States. We couldn't find him, but in Puddingham, England, we found just a man that can come into the Pud Cave and bring us up another level to help us with our research, man. To help us out, because man, we're Puds. We need all the help we can get, and that man is none other than Sir Ian Pudsworth. Once again, Pudsworth is in the house. Thank you, brother. Great job last week, and we appreciate you being here, brother.
Thank you. Also, good morning, and see how you guys are doing and stuff.
We're doing great, brother. We're doing great, and we're
speaking of the greatest nation in the world. Thank you for your donation of your time.
Yes, man.
To help us out.
And you know, and Pudsworth, it's really, you know, it's not necessary to wear the tux every show, brother. But hey, man, you do you. I mean,
that's class.
Hell yeah, dude. And once again, Puzzle, thank you for being here. And Mike, man, let me ask you, brothers, anything been going on in Pudsville this week? How's life in retail going?
Good. Pretty busy week. Not a lot as far as out of the way events.
No scooters.
That's been a pretty chill week. I mean, yesterday was what was it? The Antiques Vintage Market Day.
Right.
Downtown. That was on Saturday.
We
went and walked that and checked it out. Yeah, there was some cool antiques there.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff, man, including cassette tapes.
Yeah, we ran through the LPs and the cassette tapes on that.
I gotta say, man, whoever was selling those cassettes has some damn good taste in music, bro. I'm talking Molly Hatchet, Cinderella. Who else is in there? Dockin', man. Yep. Which is actually a great little segue in what we're going to be talking about today.
Oh, yeah.
There's absolutely a connection with today's subject matter and Dockin' the band, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You know, we'll definitely get to that. But you know, Mike, you remember last week, me, you, and Pudsworth were actually confronted after the show.
Oh, my God. Yeah. The White Witch.
Herself, man.
The White Witch hit us up. The
White Witch of Lincoln.
Yeah. We won't drop any names right now. She's another character.
She is a character,
and
bro.
We'll be getting to that, in later episodes as far as Lincoln and characters.
She would definitely get a shout out in that one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I've had my run-ins with. I know Pudsworth has had his run-ins with her. The White Witch, what I'm talking about. I won't drop any names. Don't drop any names yet.
No, I know you're
from last week when we were confronted.
Yeah,
after
that was pretty scary. I was like, what the.
Well, she had a little bit of good advice, man.
I guess so.
She told us we need to get our asses into church.
Yeah.
Which, well, that's kind of what we do right now, man.
Sure.
This is the Church of the Puds,
Well, I remember my response was, yeah, probably should. Just kind of keep the conversation,
Yeah,
short and sweet.
Move along.
Yeah, we should just came back. We just came out of
Out of church.
out of church of the Puds.
You know, Mike, it was scary. It was scary.
Which part?
The whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the whole
Yeah.
thing, man. From who it was, what she said.
I've seen scarier out of that woman. I've seen that woman get taken down on a hood.
I've heard about this. Straight up.
By 5 officers.
Fighting every fucking every
Yeah,
second
yeah,
of it, man. I
yeah.
mean, hardcore,
Yeah.
bro. Hardcore.
Yeah.
But I tell you.
That was a little scary.
Yeah, but you know, it's a good segue
Yeah.
into our subject matter of today,
Right.
which is horror movies.
Yes.
Once again, it's Halloween. You know, we're in that season. I actually did a little artwork to commemorate it for this episode. You know, with our graphic, I've been messing around with Photoshop a little bit. So I hope everybody out there enjoys it, and hope everybody enjoys this show because, brother, I think this is going to be a special one.
I'll tell you what, your Photoshop skills are getting pretty darn good.
Hey, man, I've only...
I saw that logo, that new picture for the podcast, and I was like, oh wow, man, there's a lot of stuff going on here. That's great for somebody who's just been working on it. What, maybe
about maybe 2 weeks,
Yep.
give or take, just kind of messing with it. But it's been fun, man. I enjoy getting into stuff like that, and I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate the compliment. But it's fun, and you know, man, I like to try to keep the podcast, keep it going, man. Like I said, we've got Pudsworth in here. We've got new intro music. Photoshop's coming up a little bit. Hey, man, we're actually trying to do some shit.
Hopefully some video.
Some video,
some
yeah,
point.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's definitely in the works. That's something, and man, we're going to be talking a lot about the future coming up, and
the biggest thing is getting these questions.
Yes, man.
Getting these questions answered.
But we can't do it until we get 100 subscribers, Mike.
We need that. We need to hit that plateau. We need to hit that mark to just get us to where we need to be.
And we're really close, brother.
Yeah,
we're up to
God.
44 subscribers
45.
now. 45.
45.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying, man. We keep going up, bro.
man.
That's great, and we're almost there. So if y'all are out there listening, if you haven't subscribed, hit that button.
Yes.
If you like what you hear and you have subscribed, then share it, man. Spread
Share
the
it.
word. Let people know.
Yes.
We can't do. In fact, I had a friend of ours this week, Mike, ask, "Hey, what is a PUD?"
Right.
It's like, well, I can't tell you.
Can
I swear to
yeah.
God, I just can't tell you
No.
what it is. I know you want to know. I know a lot of people out there want to know. But until we get that 100 subscribers, man, we're not coming off that shit.
Yeah.
No, we're staying true to this. We're not going to waver. We're not going to say, well, maybe if we get 50
It's
or
not gonna be a PUD leak.
no PUD leaks.
Nope.
None,
Nope.
man. No, we're keeping this thing locked tight.
Nope.
And I guarantee you, people, that you will absolutely love to know what a PUD is, and you will love the show. We've got big ideas. Help us spread the word, man. Help us get that 100 subscribers. Help us do it immediately, because we're ready to do this show, guys.
Right.
We're ready. Well, speaking of being ready to do shows, brother, Mike, what do you think about this week's subject matter?
This is probably one of my favorites, for sure. I mean, they all are. I mean, because this has been lack of a better word, passion.
Yes.
I love horror movies.
Yes.
All kinds, every kind, from every era.
Right.
They're just, it's that part of growing up too. Just that there's a lot of nostalgia to it.
Right. Right.
Just like with the wrestling, just like with anything.
Music, even
music.
yeah.
TV shows, cartoons, anything like that.
Yes.
That it's always a nostalgia thing for me. But I also enjoy current stuff as well.
Sure.
There's like with wrestling. I enjoy current stuff. Tend to love the older stuff a lot more.
Right. But there's some great modern horror out there, man. Some really, really good stuff.
There's some really good stuff, and I think it's one of those things. And tell me if you feel the same way. That somehow the horror genre and the wrestling genre have always been intertwined.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I mean,
there's something about the two cultures that have always intermixed.
I wonder, man, if it has to do with that just fundamental good versus evil. Because all horror movies can really. No, I shouldn't say all.
Yeah.
But a vast majority are good versus. You have your monster.
Right.
You have this unbeatable heel.
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, as far as comparing it, then usually you have an underdog baby
Yeah.
face. In a lot of horror movies, it's usually a woman.
Right.
Somebody,
Right.
especially back, in earlier times, which would always be portrayed as, the weaker
Right.
of the bunch. Obviously as we progressed in society, we know that's untrue. But you did see it a lot
Right.
in the movies, and I do contribute that, or I can sort of compare that to the heel monster wrestler versus the underdog, and that scariness, and well, just like we talked about scary wrestlers last week, man, there was some that just really truly would put the fear of God in you,
Oh, yeah.
like Leatherface
Yeah.
or Jason
Yeah.
Voorhees or
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger,
Right.
And I think you're absolutely right, Mike. Yes.
I think also the connection with blood.
Ah,
You know,
good call, bro.
Because,
Yes.
you know, wrestling with blood. That was always something special.
Yes.
That was always a big thing that always got you going. Oh wow, there's blood.
It's real.
Yeah, oh my god,
This got serious.
Yeah. So anything with, especially with horror, anything that was a little gory or a lot gory, that was always something big.
It's almost like it gets your adrenaline.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost like a little adrenaline spike. Because one thing I loved about horror movies is that that controlled environment to where you can really be terrified,
Yeah.
and it gives a great feeling. It almost gives you a little bit of a high. I laugh. If I'm watching a horror movie and I get scared, I will laugh out loud like I'm watching a comedy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my reaction.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of screaming or
Yeah.
jumping, I
Ah.
will LOL.
Yeah.
For real. And that's how I can always tell when something got me, because I have that. It's just that cool little buzz.
Yeah.
You get that, but you're controlled. You're in an environment. You're not really getting hurt. You're not about to get in a bar fight,
No.
or about to get robbed or
Right, right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're safe,
Yeah.
but you get to suspend that feeling of safety just for a little while,
Yeah.
and live vicariously
Well,
through
there
these
you go.
characters.
That
you know?
suspension of disbelief is, there you go.
There it is.
Same in wrestling.
Exact same feeling. Now, Mike, let me ask you, brother, can you remember or look back, what's the first horror movie that you remember that really got to you, or made you a fan of the genre?
Well, I'll tell you the first one, the first horror movie that I remember seeing, I was probably about 5, 6 years old. This is in 81, 82, 1981 or 82.
Right.
So,
Not 18. I mean, we're not
Right,
quite
right.
that old yet.
so
We're getting there.
Exorcist had made its way to TV
All
at
right.
the time. Because it came out in the theaters in 1973.
I
Am I
believe.
right on that?
Go, will you take a look for us, Puds, on that, if you would,
If
brother?
I'm not mistaken, it was 1973
Yeah, find out when The Exorcist was released.
when it actually came out in theaters. So by that time, it made its
73, you're right.
73.
Yeah.
All right.
it made its way to TV,
Right.
which was that was the thing back then. It'd take quite a while for those
Oh.
movies to make it to actual TV for
You're-
network.
You're talking
play.
years.
Yeah.
At that time, yes.
So I'm sitting there with my mom watching this thing, and she's already told me you shouldn't be watching this. I'm like, whatever. I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
I've seen action movies and just cartoons and stuff. I saw this movie. I was scared out of my mind, and I did not watch this fucking movie, this damned movie, until I was 16 years old. Again, I would not touch this movie until then.
Well, Mike, let me tell you about mine.
Uh-huh.
And I swear to God, we did not talk about this before the show, did we? This is like we do in a lot of podcasts, we don't really discuss it. We just come in and jump on it.
Yeah.
My first movie that scared me and affected me was also The Exorcist, and it was also on television.
Oh, shit.
And my mother also told me, I swear to
It was
God,
probably
y'all.
the same damn
I
night.
swear to God, y'all.
Because
hand
we
to God,
grew up.
we're the
in
same
Lincoln.
age. Yeah.
Same age in Lincoln. So
With
yeah,
the
we
same
probably
channels.
saw it. Same 3 channels.
And I was about 5, 6
No, that's
years
right.
old.
You had satellite.
No, not at that time.
Not at that time?
Not at that time,
Okay.
man. We still had the broadcast.
Okay.
So, Mike, I swear, it's so funny you're saying it, because as you were saying that, I'm over here getting goosebumps. Like, holy shit, dude, I have the same story. Because I remember my mom was like, "You're not watching this," and
Right.
I was like, "I want to watch The Exorcist," because I've been watching the commercials on TV. They've been really promoting this thing, and I was like, "Mom, please."
Staying up late was a huge deal.
Oh, that was a big thing,
Yeah.
bro. Well, Mom, finally, I was just being so hard-headed, just like I can be today, dude.
Yep.
I really haven't given that part of my life up, man. That part of my personality is probably more prevalent now than it was when I was a kid.
Right.
But Mom fought, and we fought, and I'm like, please. And Mom's like, okay, go ahead. You know, I think Mom finally just pulled the card.
Yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Yeah.
Bro, when that head spun around,
Uh,
I was like, turn it off, turn it off. And Mike, I swear to God, brother, just like you just said, I didn't watch it again.
and they couldn't even show the bad stuff on TV.
No, this was edited.
Yeah.
This was heavily edited.
Yes.
Because this is like late 70s, early 80s broadcast television.
Yes.
I think it was on at like 9 o'clock, but still they had such strict policies.
Oh, man.
I cannot watch that movie again. But Mike, what I remember, and it scared the shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had a nightmare.
Yeah.
But I also remember liking that feeling. I think that may have been the first time I really felt adrenaline.
Right.
And felt like,
Yeah.
you know, oh my God, what is this? And how did this movie elicit such a response in me? And I really, man, at that point, I think my love for horror began because I was so scared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just so funny. And
Yeah.
I mean, let's go ahead and call a couple things in this episode. We're going to hear about The Exorcist a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, just spoiler alert,
Yeah.
it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to do a top
I mean,
three
it's-
favorites. It's
it's-
my favorite.
yeah.
It's number one.
It's probably, I don't know, it's one of those classics that just has stood the test of time.
It's timeless.
It is.
It's timeless.
I would say, if you're comparing it, I would say it's probably, I don't know.
It's kind
The
of
movie, as far as a movie comparison, it would be either the Casablanca or
Hey.
Citizen Kane of horror movies.
oh, absolutely.
I would say
Absolutely.
maybe Psycho would be the Citizen Kane of horror movies.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, no, this movie,
I mean,
and even still, when they re-released the
oh, with the spider walk.
in 2000,
Yeah, it was 2000, man. Yeah, yes.
they released this thing with the
new footage.
deleted footage
Yeah.
that they never put into it. They did that damn spider walk. I got that feeling back when I
yes.
was damn 5-6 years old and saw that it's pissing. I was like, oh my God, I can't take this. I can't
Turn that shit off,
take
man.
this.
Turn that shit
Yeah.
off.
I can't take this.
And we're grown.
movie.
And we're
Yeah.
grown, man.
Yeah.
We're grown men at this time.
2000,
What, 25, I guess? Yeah, yeah. 24, 25.
24, 25,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
grown.
man,
It
pissing.
came out September 2nd, the 22nd, 2000, so you probably about right.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
25, man.
It was like, oh man,
Yeah.
all over again.
My biggest question is how did that not make the original cut?
I
You
don't
know,
know.
because that was one of the
Well,
scariest
probably
scenes I've
back
ever
then.
seen.
I mean,
Too scary.
1973. It would have just been too
Too
much.
much. It might have gave him an X.
Everybody would have pissed their ass.
Yeah,
You
may
know?
have even done an X rating instead of an R at
Could've,
that time,
yeah.
man. You know,
Could've been.
but you know, Mike, I would almost.
But they left in the crucifix scene.
That
which
one,
is still
whew,
tough to me.
that's hard. That's hard to watch.
I don't think I understood it back then,
That was hard to watch.
but I understood it later
Now.
on, and it was like, wow, that's tough to watch. That is hardcore.
That and the stuff she's saying.
oh,
oh,
God, yeah.
especially if you're religious in any way, that would really
Yeah.
you know get to you
Yeah,
pretty
yeah, for
hardcore,
sure.
man.
Yeah.
But you know, The Exorcist, Mike, I would almost put it up there with Citizen Kane by itself.
Right.
It's so good and
Yeah.
it's timeless.
Yeah.
Once again, a lot of horror movies are dated.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I'll watch a horror movie for the camp.
Yeah.
You know, just because if
Oh,
something's
yeah.
made in the '80s, you know, oh,
Yep.
it's gonna be like
It's gonna be
like ghouls or critter, you know, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Ghoulies,
Ghoulies, you know,
Critters. I'm thinking of
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master movies.
Just some of the more cheesier
Trolls.
Troll. Oh yeah, even the Leprechaun movie. I
Yeah,
love the Leprechaun
yeah.
movie, but they are dated and they
Yeah.
are a little campy.
Mhm.
Where The Exorcist will stand the test of time,
Yeah, I think
brother.
so.
You can put that in right now
Yeah.
and be just as scared and just to have the same response that you would have had in 1973.
Right.
You know.
Exactly, and that speaks a lot for that whole decade
Yeah.
as
yeah.
far as 70 horror.
Oh
But
man.
let's go back. Let's kind of start out first.
Because we're hitting it with the heavy shit, man.
we're going-
we
yeah.
dropped the bomb
We went
immediately.
straight into it. But you know, it was the beginning of our experiences.
It was. Right.
What was the first
Yeah.
horror movie you ever saw that you can remember? I remember one that still gets you. We'll come back to that later. But the first one that you remember seeing.
I think it was Alien, because that
Oh,
that was
hey.
like
hey,
probably
yeah.
about
That's
probably about 3 or 4, and all I remember is that the dark scenes. And all of a sudden pops up. I'm like, nope.
no, you done.
Like, nope.
Done and done. And the thing about Alien,
His mom was watching that at the time.
yeah, Alien
It was
was
that late.
Yeah, see, here's the thing about Alien when it first came out, you know, because you had all these mega hits like Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yes,
you
yeah.
know, at the movies.
Science fiction was big.
Science fiction, space was huge. And then you have this movie, it was kind of,
It combined it.
yeah, kind of combined it, but at that moment, I know, feeling when I was a kid, and I know a lot of other kids that grew up at that point, it was kind of like a misleading thing because, you know, space has always been really adventurous, really cool.
Yeah,
And
like
then-
Luke Skywalker and Spock. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you're coming, you know, even like Buck Rogers and
Hey, yeah.
Battlestar Galactica.
Perfect examples.
But then you have this alien, this scary freaking alien, these chest busters that
Yeah.
are just breaking out of people. Yeah, I imagine that scarred a lot of kids that thought they were going
To a Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
I mean, basically, man. And you know the thing about Alien. Now, believe it or not, and you heard it here first on the podcast. I'm not the biggest fan of the movie.
Right.
I didn't watch it or didn't try to watch it till later on. I've watched it all the way through once. Didn't get into it, man. But it was tense. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was a slow burn.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know,
Oh yeah.
And
It was definitely a build.
it was a build. It was
Yeah.
very tense. But the one I remember more than anything was Aliens. The
Right.
sequel.
The straight out just action.
Action. That was more. Now I enjoyed it a little bit more, but still, man, not the biggest Alien fans,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
I'm just not. But you know, Mike, other movies I remember as a kid, because you know, once I started getting a little older, I started getting into some of the Stephen King movies.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like Firestarter.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite werewolf movie, Silver Bullet.
Dude.
I had to bring up Silver Bullet,
Dude.
man.
That is still. I don't care what time it's on, or where it's at.
Thank you.
If it comes on, I don't care where it's at in the whole movie.
Well, oh, yeah.
If it's already halfway through, or if it's 3/4 of the way
Yeah.
through, I don't care.
I watched the
will
last 5
stop.
minutes.
I will stop and watch it every time. And I still say to this day that is Gary Busey's greatest film.
Absolutely,
Ever.
absolutely,
Yeah.
man. His greatest role.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was great, man. And I was even
Even the
thinking,
Corey.
Oh, Corey was great,
Yeah.
dude. He was great, man. He played his role. Everybody in that movie, man. The priest, you know, the evil werewolf priest. And no spoiler alert. By the way, guys, there's going to probably be some spoiler alerts.
Spoilers. I mean, if you haven't seen these movies already,
But you should have it
shame
spoiled.
on you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What the hell,
Shame
people?
on you.
Get the hell
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
No, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But seriously, watch these movies.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Silver Bullet or The Exorcist, watch these movies.
Yeah.
Alien, watch these movies, people. I mean,
Yeah.
they're great. But you know, Mike, I was trying to figure out like my favorite vampire movie, my favorite werewolf movie, and dude, werewolf movies. There's not a whole lot for me to choose from other than what I consider to be the gold standard or silver standard, if you want to, you know,
There you
get
go,
technical
yeah.
about it. Well, Silver Bullet, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Bitten was pretty good. I don't know if you ever saw Bitten. It had
I
Chris
saw
Evans.
Bitten.
Bitten was pretty
Yeah.
good. But man, that was about
The original werewolf.
That
I always
was,
still hold that as probably one of the best ones.
and even Frankenstein versus Wolfman was great.
That was
that.
that was a lot of fun.
I tell you, Mike, that was the first really old black and white movie I remember watching as a kid. Because
Really?
usually I'd be like, I don't want to watch black and white movies. They're dated. That's not cool.
I love them.
I did after watching that one.
Right.
Because, that also brings up Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Another classic. Obviously the old Count Dracula movie,
Yes.
with Bela Lugosi. You can't talk about horror movies and not bring those movies up.
Oh yeah, I mean those are pretty much the set standard. I know, with a lot of the early silent films, with like Nosferatu.
Oh, yes,
and,
yes.
and of course, Frankenstein was another silent.
Oh, yeah, great.
Back way before they started doing the talkies, the
Right.
regular just feature films. But Dracula was, to me, that was it, man. That was the beginning.
Absolutely. That could be considered maybe the Citizen Kane. Psycho definitely has to get its props, man, because I love Psycho.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah.
one, thank God I was past my black and white snob phase
Right.
when I decided to watch Psycho, because that was another one. I'm like, oh my God. Hey man, Alfred Hitchcock in general,
Yeah.
the birds scared the shit out of
Oh,
me when
yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was
that
was another
yeah.
one that was on regular TV.
Yeah.
That
I don't
just-
think it got me as hard until they showed that shot of the old man in his room and his eyes had been
been pecked out.
So,
Oh,
okay.
oh. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So that point, I just kind of seen him, blah, blah, flying around, kind of nicking people and stuff like
Doing
that.
some swoop ins,
Yeah.
yeah.
The scary part was the kids in the school when they're just take off running from the school.
Yeah,
And they're following, chasing. Oh man, that's kind of scary because we were at that age.
Yeah.
Hey,
Holy, dude, when I went outside the next day, motherfucker, dude, I'm up here like looking up in the sky, man. I got my hands up, like, oh shit, here comes one. But man, we do need to talk a little bit about Psycho though, just as far as the subject matter. I mean, because that was some pretty heavy subject matter.
I think up to that point, you had Dracula, you had Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, which is
classic.
I like Bride of Frankenstein better than I do the first Frankenstein.
Me too. Oh, by far, man. Yeah, I think it took the Frankenstein like mythology and just took it to another level.
Yeah.
The first one's a classic, obviously, but the Bride of Frankenstein, brother, to me, that's the Frankenstein movie. You know?
And then you had the Wolfman, and then you had the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, dude, we about forgot. Or I forgot about that one. Yeah, man.
Which I think was, to me, is the last of that Universal run,
the era of that
of horror.
Right.
Sure, there was other stuff in between that, lesser known stuff, and even by that time, you had some of the mix-ups, the mash-ups between the Wolfman and the House of Frankenstein and everything.
Right.
But even after that, it had become comedy, campy comedy.
The camp.
Evan Costello
versus the Wolfman. That's right, man. Yeah, exactly. In other words,
Meet the Mummy. Mummy was another one.
That was a good one.
I wasn't a big fan of the Mummy.
Right.
To me, it was just like, dude.
It's a zombie and toilet paper.
It's a zombie and toilet paper.
I mean, unwrap that motherfucker.
On the slow walk.
For real, dude. He made Jason Voorhees look like a track runner.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't running. He wasn't even walking.
No.
He wasn't even walking just normal. This was a slow drag.
I just saw literally dragging, and he's dragging all this damn toilet paper behind him.
Yeah.
It's like, just unwrap that motherfucker.
Yeah,
dude. If you want to beat him, dude, just unwrap him, man.
Yeah.
You're done and done, know. But, dude, like I said, that whole era was just golden.
Yeah.
And then, you go from that era, and then you go into the Psycho, because Psycho...
Like, start in that 60s. Oh, man, it was starting to change. You could see it was starting to go away from the gothic mythical,
more
fantasy type into real.
Like this person could really get killed, or this person could really happen.
Yeah, this could really happen.
This isn't about ghosts and goblins. This is about people who are fucking crazy.
Right.
And I wonder, Mike, if that has something to do with the way the culture was changing in the country.
It was definitely.
It had to be, man. It had to be. We're going from that, idealistic fantasy type, the monsters in a tuxedo,
right?
Like Pudsworth or like Dracula,
right.
or it's a straight up monster like Frankenstein or the Wolfman. In other words, these are, on one side you have a very articulate, very kind of rich guy,
romantic,
kinda, yes, man. Or you had the complete opposite of that, like Frankenstein, which was just a grotesque monster.
Yeah.
But coming into the 60s, now you have people with knives.
Yes.
You just have people with fucked up brains, man. Like Norman Bates, who had this mother issue. And I mean, that could really happen.
Yes. And it did happen.
And it has.
And it did.
It has happened.
At that time, because that was loosely based on Ed Gein.
Yeah. Oh, another.
Definitely had some other issues.
Yes, and also influenced some other people with movies as well, which is on the list.
Big influence on film.
Yes, and it could be a good little segue to start going into the 70s.
Well, you start going, the 60s, and you even talk about, Psycho. You talk about Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, bro, we got to talk about that one.
Yeah, that came out. That was. It was a reflection of the culture.
Culture at the time, yes.
And this was a more realistic type of thing. This could happen.
Well,
could happen.
Yeah, right.
Not so much, okay.
Maybe not literally.
Straight out zombies, but,
metaphorically speaking. And that's what I love. Yeah, man, let's go ahead and get on some of the Romero stuff.
Yeah.
Because every one of his movies really did reflect something going on in the culture at the time.
That era.
Yeah, for the time, because, obviously Night of the Living Dead, dealt with racism, man.
Yes.
I mean, you actually had a black person or a black man in the starring role, and that was unheard of.
Right.
And that movie just kicked off such a huge genre of zombie movies.
Right.
Everything that we see from The Walking Dead to 28 Days and Weeks Later, all these, which are great movies in their own right. Great horror movies. But it all started with George Romero and Night of the Living Dead.
Because the zombies at that point had been, basically your voodoo zombies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Haitian type zombies, that were just, mindless slaves.
Slaves, but they were still alive.
Right.
I mean, for the most, they weren't like the living dead.
Right.
Whereas Romero reinvented the whole zombie, phenomenon, and just create, like I said, man, created. Well, once again, the word phenomenon is the only thing I can use.
Yeah.
But speaking of Romero, one of my favorites. It didn't make my top 3, but it's probably my definitely top 10, maybe top 5. The original Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
That movie is
That's
tits, bro.
the high standard for the zombie movie.
That is the zombie movie, brother. Day of the Dead was good. It was okay, man. Diary of the Dead's pretty good.
Come to appreciate and love Day of the Dead more as I've gotten older.
Really?
I remember the first time I saw it. Well, I remember the first time I saw Night of the Living Dead. It was on Channel 14.
Right.
Early. I was young again. I saw this movie, local channel. It was late at night on my TV in my room, black and white, which was great because the movie was
black and white. Yeah.
So
it's like it all kind of fit in, kind of. Yeah.
But I remember watching this movie, and there were parts of it, and I was like, oh, okay. So you'd have to just peek out the window because, damn.
Kind of be looking at it through your eyes, through your hands. Got your hands over your eyes.
Yeah.
Kind of under the blanket, when I stuck out,
Yeah. So I saw, Dawn of the Dead later, and I was like, wow, this is really cool.
Right.
Because I was a little older, and I could appreciate, this is just like, wow, there's a lot going on here. And Day of the Dead, I saw, and I wasn't as big of a fan of it. And really, I didn't appreciate it at all. I didn't think it was as good as the other ones. But as I got older, I appreciate it more, especially for like the dialogue.
Right.
Captain Rhodes is still one of my favorite characters.
Really?
Holy crap! The shit he says in that movie is something. Oh my god! I can listen to him talk for days.
I tell you, man, I'm still in the class where I don't appreciate it as much as I probably should.
Mm-hmm.
It's without a doubt my least favorite in the series,
Right.
But man, it's so hard. And for me, anyway, man, to compete with Dawn of the Dead, it's just so hard.
Yeah.
But I have watched it. It's okay. It's
Even
okay.
with Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. Now let's see. That's the one where that was similar to Day of the Dead in the way where the zombies are kind of getting somewhat intelligent. Yeah, it's a little more recent too.
It had Dennis Hopper.
Yes. It's okay.
Yeah.
Once again, I liked it.
Right.
Definitely not.
See, that's one of my least favorites.
I was going to say it's not my favorite. It's probably right with Day of the Dead for me. I probably like Day of the Dead maybe a little bit better, but I tell you what's really good. Have you seen Diary of the Dead?
I've not seen Diary of the Dead.
It's really
not.
It's good. I like it a lot. It's a found footage,
right?
And it's done by Romero, and it's
I think at that point I was so sick of
found footage
stuff. I was off of it.
It got really overkill, man.
Yeah.
It got overused, but this was actually pretty good because it's a Romero. It's definitely got his.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I really did. In fact, I would put it right under Dawn of the Dead for me as far as the overall series goes. I would actually put it a little above Day of the Dead.
Wow.
To be honest with you, because I did like it. And I did like kind of how they used the found footage. But Mike, you talk about...
What was the other one? Survival of the Dead?
Yeah, look up the Romeros.
I think that was the last one.
I can't remember, man, what the last one... I know Diary of the Dead was fairly recent.
That was right after Land.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Not sure, but I tell you, man, the found footage stuff, I think it did get overused, but... And I know we're going to kind of jump around, so just while I'm thinking about it, we got to talk about the Blair Witch Project if we're going to talk about found footage, bro.
Definitely, that was, and I'll say that's still one of my favorite movies of all time.
I still remember me and you going to the theater in Charlotte because they didn't have it here in Lincoln. It was so underground, and people were still not really sure if they wanted. I guess the studio wasn't sure people was going to get in this movie or not.
No.
So it wasn't released widely, and in small towns we didn't get to see it. We traveled to Charlotte. And, brother, what I remember, Mike, more than anything about that movie was the mixed reactions after that movie.
Yeah.
You gave it a standing ovation.
Oh, God, I love that movie.
You stood up and clapped.
Kid you not. That was still one of my favorite movies of all time.
I loved it. I thought especially that, hell, I didn't know if it was real or not. That was my thing.
That was yeah, because they had marketed it so well
Yes.
that you kind of believed that this
Was real.
This was real. These kids are missing. These kids are gone. This is what we found.
Yeah, because man, at this time the internet was still really in its
Still baby.
Yeah, man.
Still a baby.
I didn't have it. I didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
Very few people
And
I knew had it.
Yeah. And what little internet we did, we were getting fed some of this
We were
stuff.
getting fed the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, no, this really happened. I'm like,
This
oh
is
shit, man.
real.
BlairWitch.com says it's real. It must be. I mean, hell, we didn't know, man.
The Sci-Fi Channel did a documentary
Yeah,
on it.
they did.
A mockumentary.
Yes.
Not so much a mockumentary, but a fake documentary. That was
a mockumentary, as they call them. Yeah, man. But dude, I was buying into it. I was like, holy shit, this is really happening. And the way they made that movie, yes, it's a slow burn. Yes, there's not a lot of excitement.
No.
I mean, for the most part. No, man, you're not got some slasher hacking people to death left and right. But man, you talk about a movie that got in my head.
Yeah.
Which, let's be honest, dude, that's the best stuff. That's the stuff that really gets you off. And man, I mean, that movie got in my head when that dude is in the corner at the end of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. I'm like, whoa, okay, man, hurry up and roll the credits, dude. I'm ready to go home. I mean, but I just remember after we got done watching that movie, like I said, man, I know me and Mike were both, Mike was, like I said, Mikey gave it a fucking standing ovation. And I'm over here, I'm just kind of blown away. Or the rest of our friends were pretty much into it, but I hear other people in the theater like, that sucked. That shit sucked, man. I mean, I'm talking tears are falling, bro. I'm talking Trail of Tears.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, did we watch the same movie?
Yeah.
I mean, really, man, that was what really tripped me out. Yeah. But just as far as taking something innovative and something that hadn't been done, they took it and they just took it to a level. Yeah. But then everybody started doing the found footage.
Everybody started doing it. Well, the biggest thing with me with Blair Witch is how much it didn't put everything into your lap.
Right.
And it just left so much to your imagination that you walk away and think, okay, what just happened? What really happened? Who was doing this? Was it them?
Where are these
was it
people?
Somebody else? Was it the guy? What was his name? There was Heather.
Oh, I can't remember their names, bro. It's been
Heather.
Look that up, Puzzler. Yeah, Puzzler. Damn, we're working the hell out of Puzzler today.
Today's gonna be a busy
God
one,
damn,
sir.
bro. Hell yeah. Sure you want the job?
Michael, Heather, and Josh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Josh is a tall one, wasn't
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he got missing first.
That's right.
And
Right.
you
Right.
wondered, was it Josh? Just and he's just going fucking nuts and
Yeah,
just
killing
killed
everybody. Yeah.
But then again, was it just some crazy assholes that went out there and
Just killing them for real?
Killed
Or
them
was
all.
it the fucking witch?
right?
Or was it the witch?
It could have been a damn witch.
Bitch.
Yeah.
And one thing, man, and I know we got a lot to cover, but man, one other thing I want to say about that movie is show me another movie where you got so involved in the characters
Right.
themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really, once again, I thought the shit was real.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, Heather, man.
Yeah.
What about her parents?
Yeah.
What about her friends and
Yeah.
family? What about
Yeah.
these other guys, man?
All she wanted to do was a project.
That was it. That was it.
That was it. Man.
And I tell you, when they came, do you remember when they came on MTV to actually tell everybody, hey, by the way, it's a work, it's legit a work?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck, man? The internet told me that this shit was real.
Fantastic.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Well, Mike, let's switch gears just a little bit. And I want to talk about a movie. And I don't want to go too much into it because this one does have a spoiler. And I don't think this movie gets a lot of attention. I want people to watch this movie. We're going to talk about it and then we're going to move on.
Okay.
Frailty. Are you familiar with Frailty?
Yeah.
I don't even
that
know.
was the 90s.
I believe so.
Or early
2000s,
Early,
maybe. Frailty, bro. Puds, goddamn, man. We're going to call this man, his fingers are on fire
Yep.
today, bro. He's over here typing like, goddamn. But Frailty.
Sorry in Google.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. But I don't even know if Frailty would be considered a horror movie.
I think so.
It could be,
I think
definitely,
so.
because
The
it's
same way as Psycho could be.
yeah, absolutely. So no spoilers.
Or American Psycho.
American. Oh hell, that's another
I
one.
mean,
So-
that's not a damn horror movie.
I don't know what is,
Yeah.
man, because that movie's another one that's just trippy as hell. But yeah, I just want to bring up Frailty if you haven't watched it,
Yeah.
people. No spoilers. I don't want to give that one away because man, there's so many twists and turns in that movie. If I can give any recommendations, Frailty, then I'm gonna move on, man. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to spend too much time on
Just
that one.
spoilers on that one?
No, we ain't gonna spoil that one, man. Just in case, cause I don't want to ruin it for
What's-
anybody.
What's the year on that?
2001.
Okay,
Wow,
early 2000s, man. I knew
Wow.
it was
Yeah.
in that area, but it stars a Matthew McConaughey and the one and only Bill Paxton. I mean, you can't get better than that.
I mean, Paxton will love McConaughey.
All right. I love Matthew McConaughey, bro. I just do,
I mean,
man.
yeah.
I'm stuck on
I'm
Days
not a
and
big
Confused.
fan of McConaughey, and I'll tell you why.
That scares me, bro.
I'll tell you why. Because he was involved in something else around that. This was definitely late 90s. This was sometime after Days of Confused. It was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Next Generation.
Ooh.
Also known as Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 4.
Yeah. He was, and so
He
was
was.
Reese Witherspoon?
No, Renee Zellweger.
Zoe, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew another really famous. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on
He was
past
because this is goddamn McConaughey. It's
It
the
was a
same
rough one,
person in every damn movie. And show me one. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Well, he plays
Change
Matthew
my
McConaughey.
mind. Change my mind.
He plays Matthew McConaughey in every movie.
He plays damn Wooderson in
every movie.
every movie.
Hey, but
I loved him in Days of Confused. I thought he was fantastic. You know what? I know that guy.
yeah.
I knew that guy.
I feel like that dude.
I knew that guy back then.
Oh yeah, man.
I saw
we all
him.
know him.
I saw him. We all talked to
Hell,
him.
I'm him now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've grown into Wooderson.
But he was that same person in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Next Generation.
But hey, he kills
He
it.
even says, all right,
All
all right.
Yeah, I love it,
As
man.
soon as he comes in, I was like, what?
Fuck this guy.
What the fuck have I just gotten into?
Nah, man, I gotta give him his
Dude,
props,
we
man.
waited
I'm a
for this
fan. I'm
movie
a fan.
for years, and we were hounding after this movie. And drooling over this movie to come out, and it finally comes because it didn't come to theaters.
No,
No,
this is direct to DVD.
Direct to VHS.
That's right, VHS at the time. That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
And we're chomping at the bit to see this movie because a lot.
What's Texas Chainsaw
Kim
Massacre?
Hinkle, from the original, was back directing,
Right.
producing it. And oh my god, after that movie, I was like, "What the hell did I just see?"
It was
What
rough, man.
is this?
It was rough. I've watched it once, and that's all I could do. Well, I made it through it, but Mike,
I've watched it several times just to make
just
sure.
to see if you can get into it.
Just to make sure I wasn't off that day.
I didn't like it.
Just nothing.
Nothing,
I
man.
cannot pick anything out of that movie at all.
But
Who else was in there? Goddamn, what's his name? Vince Vaughn.
Was Vince Vaughn in that as
No,
well?
not Vince Vaughn. Somebody that looked
Check
like Vince Vaughn.
Check it out, Pudsworth. We
What
got.
was his name? Somebody looked like Vince Vaughn.
Well, I know the whole movie looked like a pile of shit.
He was a dude.
But Mike, here's the thing though. That movie was granted trash. It was trash.
Oh man.
But the movie that it came from, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Incredible.
brother. I mean, we got to talk. That's on the list, man. We
Yeah.
got to talk about
Yeah.
that one.
I think going into that. Who was
Yeah,
that guy's name?
I think his name was.
Ah, fuck him.
Yeah, we don't give a shit.
Tyler Shea something.
Fuck that guy. Yeah.
It looked
But-
like Vince Vaughn. I thought it was Vince Vaughn when I first saw it. I was like,
Well,
dude.
yeah, fuck him. We're going. We'll keep on going
Oh,
with the original.
He looked like a mix between Ben Affleck and Vince Vaughn.
John Harrison.
Nah, is it really? He looked like fatter in that.
He might have went on a diet. He quit eating all that chili.
Had to be.
But man, let me tell you though, brother.
Yeah, he was like way fatter in that. Yeah, he looks all right right there. He was way fatter. He looked like Vince Vaughn and Ben Affleck.
Had a fat baby.
Had a fat baby.
But-
No, he looked like Ben Affleck just came out of prom on Days of Confused.
There you go. Yeah. But man,
And because it's a Days of Confused movie, why not?
yeah. I mean, hell, it might as well have been the sequel.
Might as well.
Days of Confused
Yeah.
2. Leatherface's Revenge. But going back to that first one though, Mike. Even when we were talking about The Exorcist a little earlier, that's another movie I probably
70s.
watched maybe a little bit too young. Because even though I was older than when I
Yeah.
watched The Exorcist,
Yeah.
I remember watching this on VHS, going and
Right.
renting it. And man, that movie scared the shit out of me. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And that's what I really loved about the original Chainsaw Massacre is it wasn't that, and it was scary, man, and
Yeah.
it was gory, and it was definitely tense,
Yeah.
but it was so bizarre, and it had such a weirdness to it,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
cannibalism thing on top of that, And on top of that, it was actually based on Ed Gein, another horror movie that has, that took inspiration from the real life Ed Gein, who was a serial killer, who would use body parts for furniture, who's a cannibal. When they went in his house, man, they found like lampshades made of human skin, a mask made of human skin. Like I said, he ate his victims.
Yep.
I mean, and this is real, man. This is like the real life stuff.
There's the point. There's implied, like maybe some necrophilia.
Oh yes, there is.
Implied incest.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Stuff like that. There's a group of guys.
Where's the women?
Where's the women?
And they're all messed up, and they're all eating people.
Where'd they come from?
I mean, there's got to be grandma somewhere laying around. I don't know.
Well, grandma was upstairs.
Upstairs. That's right. That's
yeah.
right. So, man, once again, you just talk about bizarre, but macabre. The first time I ever heard the word macabre was in that movie, and that's the best way to describe it, man. And that movie was just, like I said, the sequels. I did like part 2. Was it part 2?
Loved part 2.
Yeah, part 2 was great.
Yeah.
I mean, but it was a little bit more campy.
Yeah.
It started getting campy. Third one obviously went camp. The fourth one we won't discuss anymore. But man,
that's that whole 70s decade. All the horror was, well, there's two, with the 70s and even in the 60s, kind of there's these two separating lines. There was the more American, and even with the Italian stuff, there was a lot more real grit, just this grindhouse,
kind of disturbing.
Yes,
right, almost realistic type.
But over in England, they had done basically the revival of Gothic horror with the Hammer films.
Right. That's good to bring up.
You're looking at Peter Cushing. You're looking at Christopher Lee.
Yes. Shout out to Chris Eisenberg.
Yeah, they're making these beautiful movies, remakes basically of, or even continuations of the Dracula series, the Frankenstein, the Mummy, and they're just redoing it, and they look incredible.
And they're great movies, man.
Yeah.
Those are some awesome movies,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Christopher Lee, I still say, besides Bela Lugosi, is the greatest Dracula ever.
I'll give you that, man. Yeah. I know, obviously, I do.
To me, Bela Lugosi embodies that look of Dracula, but Christopher Lee just takes that persona and just makes it
his own. And put his own spin, which made it great, man, because he is a legendary actor, and he made a legendary character even more legendary. I mean, how do you walk out of the shadow of Bela Lugosi? Man, I mean, that takes a lot, man. That takes a lot of talent, and I think we see that the man had it, and had it in spades. And, Mike, going from the 70s kind of into the 80s, we're introduced to another, horror movie icon, and this is also my top 3. Hell, I'm giving all my top 3s away as we go, man. How can we not? But it's Halloween.
Yes.
Halloween with Michael Myers, or The Shape.
Oh, no, that's actually 70s.
It's 78. It was 78.
Yeah.
It is 78.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You are absolutely right, man.
Yeah.
And this one, and Mike, let's go ahead and talk about it. I want to talk about Halloween 3 before we move on too far, because I love Halloween 3, the season of the witch.
I do too.
A lot of people don't.
No.
There's a lot of people
shit on it.
Yeah, because Michael Myers isn't in it. If you all have not seen Halloween 3, maybe you're a little bit of a snob about it. Well, Michael Myers isn't in it. I don't want to see it. Watch Halloween 3. I'm telling you right now, it is a great movie. And it kind of makes me wish the Halloween series would have actually done more of a compilation type,
Yeah, the anthology.
Anthology, yeah. Because that was the original intent. They wanted to do every movie differently.
God, you can only imagine what they could have done.
I know, man.
You can only imagine.
That's all we can do.
They decided not to.
But, man, I mean, if Halloween 3 was any indication of what could have been, bro. No, don't get me wrong, man. I like the Michael Myers movies. I like the Halloween series. Even when it started getting a little out there, kind of going a little bit on the edge with some of the mythology that was kind of surrounding it with the the pagans and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, with Thorn.
Yeah.
That is still one of my favorites.
I like that stuff, man.
I love that.
I thought it was getting a little bit on the edge, but I liked it. It was entertaining, and I enjoyed those movies. But
I have a special place in my heart for that one.
Yeah, I mean, those are great. Like I say, Michael Myers.
I was actually able to go to the theater and see that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So when
it first came out, again, chomping at the bit.
And it was good.
Because everything else before that I had seen, I was either too young to go see it in the theater. But we got it on VHS.
Yeah, right. You still had a chance.
You watched it just religiously.
And you know, man, the thing I really love about Halloween, and believe it or not, if you go back and watch that movie, there is very little to no blood in that movie.
No.
There's very little gore. I mean, if any, I don't even know if
Yeah.
there's a drop of blood in this movie. And to this day, it'll always be one of the scariest, most tense,
Yeah.
emotional horror movies that I've
Yeah.
ever seen, and it's definitely in my top 3.
Yeah,
You know, it's,
for sure.
it's definitely up there. But the one cool thing, well, there's a lot of cool things, but another cool thing, in my opinion, that came from the Halloween movie was it started kind of opening up the whole slasher thing.
Yeah.
Which brings us to a modern day franchise, in my opinion, masterpiece and classic, the Friday the 13th series.
Yes.
How can we have a horror movie show and not talk about Friday the 13th? Right?
Well, exactly.
I mean,
Especially coming off the first one.
oh, the first
Because-
one.
You know,
Something else.
Again, you know, and I always got that feeling that even though it came out what 1980,
I believe so. I believe it was 80.
it still had that 70s feel,
yeah, yes.
especially with that surprise at the end. You know, like
Oh, what a
like
twist.
from movies like Alice, Sweet Alice, and other ones that you had that surprise at the end.
Yes.
It's like you don't know. You think you know, but you don't know who's done it. So it's almost like a murder mystery.
Yeah, dude, it is.
Yeah.
Actually, and then you get that big reveal. And
Yeah.
I still remember the first time I watched, because I'd actually seen Jason movies before part 1.
Right.
You know, because at
Yeah.
that age, you just catch
Out of
whatever.
order,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It was
Yep.
just a Friday the 13th movie. It was a Jason movie.
Yeah.
So I went back to watch the original. And I was like, wait a minute, man, that's his mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird because I
Right.
wasn't even sure of the mythology at this
Yeah.
time. I was just kind of watching them here and there, just kind of piecing them together. And man, I was like, whoa, that's his mother.
Right.
And I tell you something about Friday the 13th Part 1 that I really like is the camera work.
Yeah.
How they would have her perspective and her point of view.
Yeah.
To me, that was something, because usually I'm not a geek when it comes to like filmography or I don't even know if that's the right word.
Yeah.
But the way they make movies. I'm not-
Cinematography.
yeah, thank you. I'm not familiar with that stuff, and I don't really get off on stuff like that. I just think a movie's good or it's not.
Right.
But for me to notice like camera shots and how they do something, that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm so unaware of that stuff.
Right.
I never really pay attention to that stuff. That movie I did.
Yeah.
Because it was
Yeah.
all from the mother's point of view or
Right.
Mrs. Voorhees' point of view. And you never know who it is through the whole movie until the very end. And then you go back and watch it again, and you're like, oh my God, that's Jason's mom
Okay.
the whole time. I
She's
love.
got some rough hands, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, she needs a pedicure, not a pedicure, manicure.
Manicure.
Yeah. Probably a pedicure
Hands a little
too.
rough, hands a little rough.
I mean, she got to get that thumb healed up. But hey, man, it was really.
I don't know if I want
get
to get rubbed on by Mrs. Voorhees.
No, I think
Mr. Voorhees, Let me see why he's not around. Get the man hands off me.
He was a lonely man. He died of loneliness.
Well,
He died of a case of dry dick, man. But no, man.
if those hands were on out, man, it was
Well,
dry.
But man, moving on. Motherfucker go to jail with 3rd-degree burns, but I mean to go to the hospital. But anyway, man.
Pulling carrots.
Jesus Christ, man. All right, man. No, man, no. All right, guys. All right, focus, y'all. Come on, Puss.
It puts the lotion on his skin.
No, Miss Voorhees, no. But all right, man. Okay, but no, but seriously, man, all those movies are great, except for the one. Well, Jason Goes to Hell wasn't my favorite one, and I tell you,
I still have a place in my heart for that movie. You're gonna find out that I've got a lot of spaces in my heart for a lot of shitty movies.
But at least we can admit it was a shitty movie,
Exactly.
man. It was. That was rough, dude. And the one where Jason wasn't really Jason, I think that was The New Beginning, Part 5. Dude, that one's.
No, I still no. That's
Do you
still
like
got
that
one?
one?
Of the biggest place in my heart.
Oh, I couldn't. I didn't
Because
like that, man.
Because I'll tell you, I have one more for you. Ethel.
Oh, okay. Ethel was the shit.
She
Ethel
was
the
that
shit.
movie.
She was off the
Oh,
hook,
that was
man.
great.
I'll give you Ethel,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, okay. It had a saving grace, man.
Oh, yeah.
It had a saving
Yeah.
grace.
Yeah.
I'll give you
Oh
that
my God,
one.
she was so good in that movie.
Was Glover in the 5th one, or is that the 4th one?
Fourth one, I believe. Wasn't Kristen Glover. That was
Crispin
fourth.
Glover.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm pretty,
yeah.
Make sure on that, Puss.
Absolutely.
Yeah, make sure. I think that was the fourth.
That one breakout person
Yes.
in each of these movies.
Well, now the
That
fourth one had Corey as well. Feldman.
I like Corey.
Yeah.
He was a little shit in that movie.
Oh yeah, he was a little shit, wasn't he,
was
man?
a
He
little
really
shit.
was.
It's like,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
Die,
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
You know,
But
but
a little shit.
I
Crispin
love.
Glover was great.
Oh
in
yeah,
that movie.
dude, that dance he does.
Oh yeah.
And man, I love the Tommy Jarvis series. I love the Tommy Jarvis
Yeah.
stuff. To me, that was. Thank God they
I
continue to
didn't
make
like.
them.
I didn't like Tommy Jarvis in 5.
Now I'm trying to. Now is that when he gets out of the institution?
No, that's
That was
when-
6 when he
Yeah,
escaped.
when he
Okay,
got it,
okay,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, 5's when he's at the house
Okay, I got
with
you.
all
Yeah, it was
the other people,
Got you.
patients.
Right.
The other
Got the
patients.
candy.
Yeah, right,
Got
right.
Fat guy with candy.
Yep.
Reggie the Reckless.
Yes.
Who we knew at that time was oh my God, from Different Strokes.
Dudley.
Dudley.
Yeah,
Dudley.
man. Dudley.
And Dudley had already came out of a scary situation
Dude,
anyway.
Dudley had a rough time in that bike shop, bro. You know what I learned from that episode? Don't go to
Mr.
that
Carlson. Don't go in the
Don't-
back
don't go
back
to-
room with Mr. Carlson.
Oh, jeez.
That was some rough shit, man. That was the real scary shit
Yeah.
from the 80s.
Yeah.
Was Dudley in
And
the
then,
bike shop.
then he has to go to
Thank God Jason's here. Fuck you, bike shop. I'm moving over here to the Ganaki mask.
Oh God.
Poor Dudley, man. Poor Dudley. But nah, man, those movies, I love the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Did you like Jason X? Jason in Space, as I always called it. I loved it, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was
Wow.
one of the campiest, most just ridiculous movies I've probably ever seen in my life, and I loved every.
I liked what's her
second
name.
of it, man.
She was the
Android, I
the
think.
android,
The android,
robot.
yeah.
What was her name? Oh my God,
I can't
I was so in love with her.
Oh, she was something else, bro.
Yeah.
But I loved that movie, man. When he came out as Super Jason, I was like, fuck it.
Oh
At
my
that
God.
point, why not, man? Just
Why
say fuck
not?
it. I mean, go balls to the wall,
Yeah.
and that's what they did.
Take it to
man.
space.
And why not?
Yeah.
And dude, speaking of going to space and Jason, one of the first horror movies I ever saw in the theater was Jason Takes Manhattan. Got a little.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. And I got a little bit of a story to go with that. Me and my cousin, man, we were staying with my grandmother, and I forget what other movie was playing. It was like a PG movie.
All right.
And we're like, hey, we want to go see this whatever movie it was, PG movie, you know. My grandma's like, okay, you know, I'll take you and drop you off and come pick you up like we could do back in the day,
Yeah.
you know. Well, man, you know, me and my cousin Chris, man, we didn't go to that fucking PG movie. We took a hard right,
Right.
and we went right into Jason Takes Manhattan. And what was so great back in that day, nobody gave a
Nope.
shit.
Nope.
They watched us
Yep.
walk into that, man. Nobody gave a damn. Dude, that's one of the most fun nights I've ever had at a movie. Me and my cousin, I mean, we were older at that time, so we weren't going to be all scared and all like, you know, tripping out on it. But we had a blast, and that movie will always just have a special place for me, man, because we got to sneak into the movies and watch Jason, even though he didn't really
That was a
take
big
Manhattan.
deal.
No,
He didn't take Manhattan. But I love that movie. I love the boat. I love the kills. Everything in that movie was great because, it's a Friday the 13th movie. But me and my cousin got to we got to break the rules a little bit.
Right.
We got to sneak under the radar. We got to go into this. And, man, that was just one of those memories that I'll keep forever, man.
Yeah.
You know. And I
We
love
did-
that movie. I love it.
think we did the same thing to Pet Cemetery too.
Oh, okay.
That was one. I think that was one of the first ones that I saw horror movie wise in theater.
The second one had, the first one, though, the first Pet Cemetery.
Loved the first
Fuck, man.
Too young to even think about.
Oh, yeah.
getting past that.
Yeah, man. You know,
By
going
this
back.
time, we were just like, kids. Okay, go ahead.
Get to sneak in,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead and watch your movie. Yeah. I don't even know what we were supposed to watch at that time. What time did what year did Pet Cemetery 2 come out?
I just know, man, it was something about sneaking in that theater.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man, and doing something you ain't supposed to be doing. You
Yeah.
know?
Oh
and,
yeah.
And especially with Jason,
I
because
think
you
I
know,
went. It was me and Chris Cottle.
I don't know if I know Chris. I don't.
You know Chris. I'm terrible at this. I forget his wife's name.
Miss Cottle?
Yeah, Miss Cottle.
I know her. No. That's Bob's daughter.
Yeah. No.
The voice of
Came
professional
out in
wrestling.
92.
92.
92. Okay.
So we were probably supposed to watch, like, I don't know, what was out in 92?
Something like goddamn Aladdin or some shit. I don't know.
Maybe,
Maybe,
like,
maybe.
Yeah, we're gonna watch that whole new Aladdin movie.
Yeah. Just like me and my cousin was going to whatever, you know.
Yeah. Oh, there's Pet Cemetery too.
Yeah, man, just like me and my cousin, but we took that hard
Yoink.
right, bro.
Yeah.
It's like in there, man.
Yoink.
But you know, just you got to talk about, if you're talking horror, you got to talk Friday the 13th because it's just so. That's one of those iconic series now, man. It's Friday the 13th, and like I said, dude, just going back and thinking about the nostalgia, like we were talking about earlier, having that nostalgia. These movies also bring back memories, man. They bring back that time of life. Just like when me and my cousin snuck in this theater. If I go back, if I went home right now and I put in Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, I'm going to be that kid and I'm going to be sneaking into that movie theater all over again. And, man, that's just what's so great about these kind of movies that really, that really stick out with you. But, yeah, man, I tell you, dude. But speaking of franchises, Mike, let me ask you about another franchise. And I guess we ought to maybe talk about this one since we're talking horror movies. And it's one of these movies is in my top 3. I've already gave them all out. But Nightmare on Elm Street, bro. Got to talk about Nightmare. The first one, dude, that one will always stick out. That one's Freddy scared the shit out of me in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1.
See, I have a different feeling about Freddy.
What?
Yes. Okay. Which, I loved the first Nightmare.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
Love it.
Love it. It's just one of those feelings where it's just like. You were there, but you weren't there.
It was very fantasy.
Yeah.
You know.
It was almost dreamlike.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's just like this. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
The feeling of that.
Right.
But I love the first one. I thought it was fantastic.
Second one.
I like the second one.
Did you really?
That's one of those ones that'll hold a place in my heart.
Really?
On that one. Yeah.
See, the second one, man, I can bypass the second one. I mean, I'm talking, I can skip that son of a bitch with a passion, man.
There were things in that movie that were subtle and implied.
and some things weren't very subtle.
And some things weren't very subtle. But, that's one of the things that makes me love that movie because it's like, here you go. Right, we're gonna stick this in there and make you very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, very awkward, man.
Yeah,
I'd almost rather get stuck with the hands or the claws, So let me ask you, what do you think about the third one, Dream Warriors?
I like the third one because it feels like if you were to take the glory movies from the 80s and stick it into a horror movie,
it's the third one.
This is what it is because that scene where they're all come together and they're all dreaming and they imagine themselves as what they would like.
Yes.
Badass.
Brother, let me go ahead and put it on the table. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors is one of my favorite movies, period. Whether that's horror, action. I just watched it this week, man. I love it. The reason I love, in fact, it's on our artwork this week. It's actually going to be prominent, man, because the thing I love about The Dream Warriors, to me, it's the quintessential, just like Bride of Frankenstein was the quintessential Frankenstein movie, I consider Dream Warriors to be the quintessential Freddy Krueger movie because he started getting into the camp, but not so over the top with it like he started coming into the fourth and fifth movie. In other words, to me, it was the perfect balance of what made the original so great because you still had that terror, that fantasy nightmare setting, but you also started seeing some of Freddy's sense of humor started to come through a little bit more. You started seeing some of the kills be a little bit more elaborate, and that's what I love. To me, he peaked out with the third one. But just like you were saying, Mike, when they all come together at the end, that to me that went beyond horror. That went more into like fantasy, more into like adventure, almost like a Lord of the Rings type situation where you're going into this thing as a team to defeat a demon. Obviously, you're not Mordor,
right?
But it's got a huge fantasy element to it. Well, like when you have the wizard, you have the guy in the wheelchair.
The guy in the wheelchair. That was kind of an emotional part.
That was awesome.
That was a big deal.
He was like, in my dreams, my legs are strong,
right?
And I'm the Wizard King. And this motherfucker starts doing magic and shit. It's like, motherfucker.
Whoa.
Hey man, but we got to give props to the character in that movie, my man Kincaid.
Oh man,
that motherfucker did not play. The best part in that movie is when he busts through the wall wearing the fucking red shirt. If he went, oh yeah, I'd have been over it, man. I'd have been over it. No, Kincaid was the shit. And one of my favorite lines in that movie is when Kincaid said, "Let's go whip Freddy's ass all over Dreamland." I was like, "Goddamn right, man!" I was so. I mean, Kincaid and Nancy are leading the charge. Nancy comes back in that
Nancy
movie.
comes back in that movie.
I mean, the whole thing, man, is
Yeah.
just. I mean, I'm getting good. I love that
Yeah.
fucking movie. I
Yeah.
love it, man.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm over here just tripping on it, man. But when Freddy Krueger takes that one girl and like he's the television, and he says, "Welcome to prime time, bitch." That was the quintessential
That was
Freddy
pretty much,
Krueger line.
That was okay, but that was also the beginning for me to where okay, this is kind of going.
It peaked.
It was kind of going. Freddy's starting to get a little
Campy.
A little campy.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
I love
It's
that.
damn quips. It's these damn quips. It's just like he's
Got your tongue. You know?
Dude,
I love
let me tell you
man.
about that
I
scene.
love it.
Let me tell you about that scene with the guy that couldn't talk.
Yeah. Joy. Yeah.
Joy. And that nurse.
Oh, dude.
Son,
I
I am
remember that.
young. I am young.
Hey, she was hot, dude.
Holy
She still is.
crap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Holy moly. That scene was...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking, but puberty kicked in.
Yeah. You started
Puberty was
finding out.
kicking in.
You started finding out about yourself at that point.
Really quick, like, oh, okay.
I'll be damned.
Now I get it, Joy.
Okay.
Hell, I can't talk either.
Well.
but you know, man, in my opinion, though, that the franchise itself did start doing a little bit of a well, not a little bit of a dive. It took a dive.
Yeah.
You know,
Dream
Child, Freddy's Dead.
What was it? Dream.
I think Dream Child was the next one, right?
Dream Child.
Check that out, Puzzle.
And then
Freddy's Dead.
Dream Master.
Dream Master.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think Dream Master. Then
Dream Master. Then Dream Child.
and then
Yeah.
Freddy's Dead.
Freddy's Dead.
But I love the New Nightmare.
I saw Freddy's Dead in theaters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I actually did watch that in theaters. And the biggest selling point for that was, well, obviously it was going to be the last Freddy
Supposedly,
movie ever.
right? Which didn't
But-
happen.
It was supposed to be in 3D too.
That's right. That's right. That's what in the God of DeVita scene. If
Son of a bitch. You know, they sell this thing as a 3D movie. You get these 3D glasses, and they tell
there's
you,
one scene.
They'll tell you, okay, well, the last 10 minutes is in 3D.
What the fuck is the
What
other
the fuck?
hour and 20 minutes?
What the hell are we doing? What?
It's a fucking work,
This has
man.
never been done
They
before.
fucking worked
This is. Wait a second. I've been to 3D movies. I've watched 3D movies on TV.
Yeah.
That was a big deal to get
Right.
the 3D glasses at 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, man. Yes.
To watch the movie that night in 3D. You can do it on TV. You telling me you can't do this whole fucking thing for the whole duration? You can only do it for the last 10, 15 minutes.
And even then, man, it was not the best sequence, dude.
Shit.
It was shitty, man.
Shitty.
It was shitty.
We got shit.
But I tell you what, though, man, I really did like New Nightmare. The kind of
Yeah, that was good.
that was a good. They
That
brought
was
Wes
an
Craven
interesting
back.
concept. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. They brought Robert Englund to play himself. They brought in Nancy or Heather. I forget her
Heather
last name.
Langenkamp.
Yes, who? Oh, you speaking of crushes, bro?
Oh yeah,
I had a huge.
She was
crush
that girl
on her,
next
man.
door. Definitely beautiful.
Beautiful, man, and she was badass.
Yeah.
I mean, she was
Yeah.
strong. She was a
Yeah.
strong woman character. You know, we hear a lot about that in today's society, which is obviously a good thing, man, to have more of that representation. But man,
Let me tell you what, it was alive. It was alive and well back then.
Damn right it was,
Right.
man. It just
Yeah, I
wasn't
think
as
a lot of people misconstrued a lot of horror movies. Probably did not take the time to actually view what was going on. But
Right.
you had, Sally Hardesty in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You had Laurie Strode in the Halloween
Jamie Lee
movies.
Curtis, absolutely, man.
You had, Heather
You had
Langenkamp,
Nancy.
Nancy in the Nightmares.
Even the Screams that came out later,
The
you know, you had to have
Screams were huge.
which
Yeah.
I love those movies as well,
Yeah.
man. That's some
Neve
of my
Campbell,
favorites. Yeah,
Courtney Cox.
absolutely, man. You know, we were just talking earlier in this broadcast how a lot of times they would give the underdog or victim role to a woman.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that woman or underdog, just like in professional wrestling, would be the one to get over
Right.
at the end of the end of the night. Well, Mike,
Do you remember a male survivor? Can you think of one like during a horror film, like a strong male survivor?
Not right off, man. Not with the movies we've talked about. It seems like Kincaid survived Dream Warriors, but I can't remember. I just watched it 2 days ago. I think I
Right.
would remember this shit, but I don't remember if he did it or not. But Mike, I tell you what, bro, we're getting about to the halfway point. You like to take a little break?
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah. Yo, I tell you what, guys, we're going to take a little break. Don't go nowhere. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be right back. So stay tuned. What's up, Puds? This is Jason from the PUDcast with Jason and Mike, and I want to take this opportunity to talk to y'all about GameSwap, located at 112 Northeast Court Square, right here in beautiful downtown Lincoln, North Carolina. Whether you're looking for the best new games and consoles, or you're more of a retro guy like me, GameSwap has you covered. People, I'm talking everything from Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, Xbox. Hey, there's even systems I've never even heard of before. So if you're a hobbyist, a hardcore gamer, or a collector, GameSwap is the only place to go. And maybe video games isn't your thing. Well, that's cool too, because GameSwap is much more than just a game store. They also carry a vast selection of comic books, toys, t-shirts, and all sorts of collectibles spanning all aspects of pop culture, from science fiction, action, adventure, TV, horror, and all points in between. You really just have to see it to believe it. So what are you waiting for? Get on down here to GameSwap and see it for yourself, and tell them that the Puds sent you. All right, Puds, we're back, and if you're just now tuning in, which I don't know why you'd start right, halfway through the damn thing, but
you never know.
You know, man, I still pretend it's like a radio show or something, like we're live,
Yeah.
It's like, if you're just now tuning in, then just hit the fucking rewind button and listen to the whole thing. But we've been talking about horror
We may
movies.
go live one day.
Hey, man, that's
when you hear the real shit.
yeah, man, I mean, I'll say this much, dude. Pretty much what you hear is what you get here on the podcast, but every once in a while we may do a little editing here and there, We don't do it a whole lot, but, man, if we were live, Jesus Christ, man.
Uncensored.
Pud censored.
Yeah.
But, well, hey, Mike, since we were just talking about the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street series, right now, man, I would like to bring up a movie that, to me, is one of the more scary, at least for me personally, in my viewpoint, and it's kind of a more recent movie. Now, granted, it's been out probably over 10 years by now, maybe close to 15, but I was talking about The Devil's Rejects, man.
Oh, man.
Did you enjoy that movie?
Well, I tell you what, you got to start off with
House of a Thousand Corpses.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Or as I like to call it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Rob Zombie
come on,
version, man. Come on,
man.
I like the movie. I like the movie.
I love the movie.
I like
There's
it.
a lot
I like
of cool
it.
stuff that happened. But yeah, you can see definitely heavily influenced.
It was influenced.
Heavily
influenced. I do love the movie, man.
I do too. It really gave birth to a lot of great stuff, and especially with Captain Spaulding.
Spaulding is a great character,
and that
man.
opening is just fantastic.
It really is. And one thing I like about both those movies, is the dialogue. Now, I will say it can get a little over the top for me. Rob Zombie, I think he's just over the top.
Yeah.
Period. Which is great. It definitely works for him. Even in his music, he's over the top. But I really do like the dialogue. Like I said, man, it can get a little out there.
Yeah.
But,
especially Bill Moseley. I love Bill Moseley.
Man, I love his role in that movie.
Love.
Man. Yes.
But he can get off on tangents. So
yeah.
Let's dial it back a little bit.
Yeah, turn it down, turn it down.
Sam.
But still, man, it fits.
The thing, and it's my gripe about every Rob Zombie movie, is that Sherry damn Moon.
I like her. I like her in The House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I do like her in those movies. I truly do. That's about all I can say. She's gorgeous, obviously. I mean, the man in the...
She on my fucking nerves.
I am a fan. I think she was better in Devil's Rejects, to be honest.
She was a little more, I think,
grounded,
gritty.
Yeah.
Definitely a little more gritty.
Yeah.
And that whole movie.
The whole movie was.
It's definitely gritty. Yeah. And I think it's heavily influenced by that 70s grindhouse era.
Absolutely, those exploitation type movies, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's a trip, man, how a movie that are as a sequel, or two movies that are in a series can be so different, even with the same characters, man. There really is some stark differences between House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
There really are.
I think, with House of a Thousand Corpses, what I love most about it is really revived Sid Haig's career.
Yes, it did.
Bill Moseley's
Bill
career.
Moseley as well.
It also gave birth to Chris Hardwick.
That's right.
At that time.
At that time.
Yeah. Because, he's a huge obviously connected with The Walking Dead.
Sure.
For the
yeah.
Talking Dead.
Absolutely.
Right, as I like to call him back then, Fat Hardwood.
There you go. Right. And you know,
also,
and Rainn Wilson is in that movie.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I love Rainn Wilson.
Yes.
Period. You know.
Yeah, from The Office.
I asked Dwight Schrute, you know, who is a iconic character. And this guy, I don't know if people really realize how good of an actor.
Oh my God.
He's tremendous. He's also in the new Star Trek Discovery series as Harry Mudd. And you know, I'm a Trekkie, and I do like Discovery, and he's great in that as well, man. Everything the man's done, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan.
He gives it such a great performance of that uncomfortable
awkwardness,
to where it's like, okay, there's something not right here,
right?
And I know it, but I'm just gonna make awkward conversation to get around it.
Get it, because with him and the Captain Spaulding scene, where you know he's like, "Are you assaulting my intelligence?" You know, obviously I can't do the whole dialogue, but man, that was tense, and that was like, oh, that's the kind of stuff I like in a horror movie. I like that.
Yeah,
almost like you don't want to watch.
Right.
You know, it's like you watch with one eye. You know,
even with him and Sherry Moon in that scene in the house where they're drinking hot cocoa.
Oh yeah.
Like, whoa, something. So and Karen Black, reviving Karen Black.
Oh yeah, she was wonderful in these movies, man.
Oh my God, she just played that nasty. Just oh my God.
But you know, man, when looking at these two movies back to back, I do got to give it to The Devil's Rejects. Just a hair, man, because it was so much more realistic. You know, to me, House of a Thousand Corpses almost had a little bit of a cartoony feel.
Yeah.
To a certain animation type vibe to it.
Yeah.
Whereas The Devil's Reject was like, oh man, this is...
It's like a big carnival.
Yeah, dude, that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I love that. Whereas The Devil's Rejects was like, now you're out of the carnival.
Right.
You know, now you're going home. Now you're on that back dirt road.
In the desert.
Yeah.
You were going to die.
You're going to die, man. And do that soundtrack. You know, me being the huge music fan I am, the soundtrack to Devil's Rejects, that's another thing I got to give Zombie his props for. He knew what music to use, where to use it. Man, that Freebird scene, I love Freebird. It's my favorite song.
The ending Freebird scene is probably one of the best.
Badass.
I think just...
In any movie.
Yes.
Any genre.
Yeah.
That shit. You know what I mean, dude? When I first watched that movie, being the Freebird fan I am, being the Leonard Skinner fan I am, I could not get enough. I was like, oh, fuck this. Rewind, man. Rewind. I mean, I watched it 3, 4, 5, 6 times, man. Just over and over, you know. It's great.
Oh, even with, I think, the comparison of the two, the House of a Thousand Corpses felt like a Rob Zombie video.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Rob Zombie music video.
That's a good, yes.
Whereas Devil's Rejects felt, he used definitely used that more time period music, and it felt like, okay, this is that time, this is that era,
this is it, man.
Yeah.
Because that's a good point, Mike. You know, the way he used that music of that era really did pull you into that era, and it gave you more of a legitimate feel for like Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
right?
Last House on the Left. These kind of movies that were just so tense and so real, and
which is weird because they're all connected in some way, but it felt like
there were
that House of a Thousand Corpses was a more current movie, but Rejects was more of that time period.
More of that 70s grindhouse exploitation vibe going on with it. Now, let me ask you, man, speaking of Rob Zombie, how did you feel about his Halloween remakes? Dun, 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 dun. This is where we need a toilet flush sample, right?
He knows.
How can he not?
He's playing like he doesn't know how I feel about this.
The Puds want to know, Mike.
I thought, okay.
let's get
Here
real.
All right, let's get real with this. Start with Halloween 1 remake.
The remake, right?
Yeah. God knows. Everybody knows how I feel about remakes. Remakes are, especially the classic movies, are unnecessary. If you're gonna remake something, remake a shitty movie.
Hey, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Try to remake a shitty movie to make it better.
That makes sense, man. Yeah.
A classic
that makes sense.
Shouldn't be touched because it's in the title.
It's already done.
It's a classic movie.
It's already been there, done that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Even like cult status movies, they are that reason for a reason.
For a reason.
There's no need to retouch that.
Right.
It's just not. It's not like it's a lost movie. It's like it's not like you can't find this movie. It's not available anywhere.
We
It's
know
there.
of it.
It's there. Everybody knows about it.
Right.
Don't touch it. But with this first Halloween remake, I like the very beginning of it.
Okay.
I think the very beginning of it, especially when Michael was a kid, could have been a totally different movie unto itself.
Oh,
Could have been titled something else.
but you're right.
Something completely different.
Right.
An original work from Rob Zombie, which he was good at.
Yeah, man.
He
Well,
was good at up until that point
right.
and afterwards. But, he hit 2 home runs with, House of Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects.
Absolutely.
So
Totally
he goes
agree.
into this remake. He wants to get his hands into this remake and retelling the story. That first part when Michael is a kid could have been a totally different movie unto itself. Could have been a
Absolutely.
great movie.
Could have been great.
Because that first scene, that opening part of that movie when he's a kid is incredible.
Yep.
I think it was well done, and it was just like, wow, this is something. But it does not feel like a Halloween movie.
No, right.
And then you go into when he's older, and this is where the shit drops into the toilet.
Brother, you talking about a turd hitting the toilet for real, man. I watched the first one. I got all the way through. I see what you're saying about the beginning, how it could have went a different direction. That makes a good point. In fact, that's almost enough for me to want to go back and watch the beginning.
Yeah.
But not enough to actually do it.
No,
because
exactly.
that movie was so.
Because you're only going to get up to that point.
And then you're going to get pissed off because I literally had a very negative feeling to it. Okay, I watched the first one. Let me put it like this. I watched the first one, not impressed. I'm like, well, I'll never watch this shit again.
Right.
So the second one comes out. I'm like, well, I want to be open-minded. I want to see. Maybe it's an improvement. I couldn't finish it.
Uh-huh.
And not only could I not finish it, I actually started feeling myself getting a little pissed off because now I'm like, you're taking a movie franchise, a series that I love.
Yeah.
Because I like Halloween 2 as well. Some people love it, some people
The
don't.
original.
The original Halloween 2 from the 80s or whatever, the direct sequel.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love both those movies. And man, as I'm watching this the remake of part 2, I'm just feeling myself getting angry.
Yeah.
I'm like, you are taking the Mona Lisa and you're literally laying a big fat chocolate dragon right across that motherfucker's forehead, and you're trying to call it art, man.
Damn.
I mean, no, dude, it's
it is terrible.
it's trash.
And again,
It's
got
trash.
Sherry Moon in there. And that part, I tell you what, and he brings out another one from Rejects. God, I'm ashamed that I don't remember his name.
Danny Trejo's in that movie. I can't remember who it was.
Of course, Trejo's in it.
Trejo's in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
surprised.
DDP's in it.
He's in Rejects. I'm surprised
Yeah.
he wasn't in Halloween 2.
Too.
Oh my God.
It hurt, brother.
Yeah.
It would
You would-
definitely
you
help. It
know,
hurt.
couldn't have killed it. And put Kimberly in there too. Couldn't
Fuck
kill
it.
Now, why not?
Now,
Why
if you'd
not?
brought the Macho Man in, and
Hey, Bonzo is ready. But no, oh my God, and that opening part with him and Sherry Moon in the first, what was his name? Oh God, I met him at one of the horror conventions. He was Sheriff Lydell and Rejects.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name. I know I can see him, man.
the actor.
The actor. Yeah. Which I loved his role, man.
I tell you,
He
he was in that role as a stepdad.
Yeah.
In the original. And when they had that dialogue at the table, oh my God, it is uncomfortable. It is bad.
It's
but
bad.
It was hilarious.
See, to me, you talking about I know what you're talking about where they're at the table talking. Dude, I just could not, for the life of me. I was like, this is.
Yes, William Forsythe.
Well, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Man, that stuff was ridiculous. But Mike, I want to argue something with you, man. I'm okay with some remakes.
Okay.
Now it depends.
Okay.
Now it does depend.
All right.
I definitely. I'll give you an example. I thought the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre was pretty good. I'm not going to. The one we went to the theater.
The
to
one
see.
we saw in the theaters?
In the theater. I thought that was a pretty
You have
good
got to
remake,
be
man.
kidding me.
I really
We
did.
laughed through that whole goddamn thing.
But I liked
Especially
it.
when the little kid came out.
Yeah, man. Well, he looked like the dude from Lord of the Rings.
He
What's his
looked
name?
like Smeagol.
Smeagol,
from
yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
yeah, Smeagol.
And I even
Smeagol's-
said it out loud. I was like, "That precious."
Smeagol scared the shit out of me,
That
man.
whole damn theater laughed.
I
The
will
only
admit,
good
man,
thing-
I liked it. I liked the remake. Not as good as the
No,
original. Not as good.
I
you
didn't
know.
think so.
I did.
The
man.
only
I
good
enjoyed
thing
it. I
about
did
that
enjoy
was,
it.
Gunny.
Lee
Army.
Army.
Yeah.
Army was in that
See,
movie.
he was
as the
scary,
sheriff.
man.
He was fucking scary.
He was scary in that movie,
Yeah.
man. I liked him a lot. A lot of tension. There.
Yeah, and when he, oh my god, when that, oh god, when that part when he, oh my god, when he pulls that van over and that dead girl's in there and he sticks his hands between that girl's
Yeah.
legs.
Oh yeah.
Still, oh my god,
That
I
was
almost lost it.
That was bad, bro.
That was
that
bad.
was really bad.
That was bad, but that was that level crazy that he was going
That he
for
had.
in that ship,
Yeah,
and that was the best
yeah.
best part of that movie. Otherwise, I thought that movie was just total shit.
I enjoyed it, man. And I'll tell you another remake of one of my favorite horror movies. We've already talked about it, dude. I thought Dawn of the Dead was a good remake. I've actually watched that one a few times.
I've
over
watched
the
that
years.
one actually.
It was all right,
Okay.
man. It
yeah,
was good.
that was actually. I thought it had some really good parts in it.
Yeah.
I actually like it. I don't like it as much,
Not as the original.
obviously, as the
right.
original. I thought it was a pretty good movie. I thought it was, honestly, I thought it probably could have just stood alone
It could have.
and not had that Dawn of the Dead.
I'll give you that, man. I think it was definitely
Could
good
be.
enough to stand on
Totally
its own.
different
Yeah.
movie. There was a lot of good players in that.
There
movie.
was, man. And I also liked how they had the zombies, able to like run after you. That was a little different aspect.
Well,
You get it with the rage zombies,
The rage zombies, we talked about, at that time, because at that time they were a big thing,
Yes.
especially like 28 days
Oh
later.
yeah, I mean, great. Those are
28 weeks later,
and then months. No, it's days and then weeks.
Days and weeks,
Yeah.
which was, that
Both
was a
those.
whole different scary.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
those are great movies.
Runners and just, they're coming and they are
The
not stopping.
rabid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I thought that was a good movie.
That one was a
Yeah.
good one, but just like with the other ones, man, they're definitely.
What's another remake? That,
Let's see, man. That's the two that come to my mind right off. I know there's obviously more.
oh yeah.
I mean, obviously we're just not, can't think of them right off. But that's just the two that I can think of that I do. You have any puzzles?
Friday the 13th. I mean, not Friday the 13th.
Yeah, hey, Friday the
That
13th.
too, and also the Nightmare on Elm Street one.
Both of those were remakes. Let's talk about those remakes.
Okay.
Let's talk about those. I've seen them both once apiece.
It's too huge.
Like I said, man, I've watched them personally
Right.
each one time years ago, so my memory's going to be a little faded.
Yeah.
The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, didn't like it, man. I just did
It
not
had the
like
kid-
it.
As Freddy, Haley.
Yeah, he was in Watchmen. He played Rorschach in The Watchmen.
He's
Right.
also in the Freddy versus Jason film when he got the.
I think so. If I'm,
Was he in the bathtub when he had the marks on his back? I think
No,
he was.
I
no,
no, I
that-
think that's
that's-
somebody
No,
different.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
he's watching because he's Rorschach.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's one else.
But I remember him as Kelly Leak from the Bad News Bears.
Oh shit, that's right.
That's all how
That's
I
right.
always remember him.
And he grew up to be,
Freddy.
but he was a Maypop Freddy, man. That was the only thing,
That
dude.
was
That
a
whole movie
terrible-
was Maypop, man.
Terrible fucking movie.
It was terrible. It sucked.
But whereas the first one, it was subtle that Freddy was a
Like a molester. Well, he was definitely a child murderer.
child murderer.
We knew
but
that.
It was subtle that he was a child molester.
Molester as well. Yeah, more sexually.
Right.
Where
But
this one
this one put it right out there.
put it in your
I
face,
mean,
man.
it was-
Which that is what it is, but man, my whole thing was just the execution of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Was just lackluster.
Yeah.
And I mean, no, granted, he had big shoes
That
to
dude-
fill, or a big glove to fill.
Big load of it. And I don't think what's his last
Haley,
name?
something Haley. Yeah, Puzzworth. Check that out for us, brother. Damn, we working the hell out of
I wanna
Puzzworth
say-
today.
yeah, I know. I keep wanting to say Haley Joe Osment, but that was like
No, that's.
that was another movie.
But man,
Haley.
it just James Earl. Oh, it's not James Earl Ray. I mean,
Haley
that's another scary motherfucker. but-
Jackie Earl Haley.
Jackie Earl Haley. Yeah,
Okay,
there we go.
okay.
There we go. Thank you, Puzzworth. Thank you,
No
P-Dub.
Thank you. But yeah, he's a short dude anyway.
Right.
So on the screen, it kind of, that really comes off. It's like, oh, this guy's small.
It's
He
just
is
like a
not-
normal looking
is
guy.
not- yeah.
I mean, framed
Which, he just doesn't come off as imposing.
like Robert Englund.
Robert Englund was just that he spewed that
That demonic, that darkness,
Yeah.
that intimidation.
Yeah.
Now I will say this: I enjoyed the Friday the 13th remake.
I did too.
I liked it.
I actually, believe it or not, I did too. Um, definitely not as much as the first.
The
And I felt
original,
like
sure.
it was a combination of the first two movies.
Or three, really. I
Three,
mean,
even with
the hockey mask.
Hockey mask, yes. So I like the fact that they could condense it down into one movie.
Yeah, I did too.
Which was like quick clip notes for
yeah.
Friday 13th. It's just
kind of a cram session, if you will.
But I still like those originals better.
I did
but
too.
It had some really good parts.
It did. I think all in all, man, as far as remaking a beloved franchise and a beloved character, I think they did a pretty damn good job with it. And one thing you can say with Jason versus Freddy, which is another one we need to bring up, we definitely should bring that one up.
Right.
But as far as the characters, Jason versus Freddy, Freddy has so much charisma. Robert Englund owned that role. Yeah. Whereas Jason's had different characters, man. Yes. He's quiet, strong, silent, mean, just demonic. So I think you could have a little bit more, I guess, dramatic freedom with Jason, to have a better remake. Because, man, when you're trying to fill that glove of Robert Englund's Freddy Krueger, and especially when you have the lackluster writing and the lackluster everything. I think the guy, Haley or whatever this guy's name is, that play, I think he did a decent enough job given with what he had to work with. But, man, it just fell so short. Yeah. Whereas the Friday the 13th remake, not bad.
And you're always going to be in that shadow. You're always going to be compared.
Absolutely, man.
So I think, like I said, it's unnecessary, I think, for remakes unless it's just a shitty movie.
A shitty movie, yeah. Let's try to make it better.
Yeah.
Like you said.
Because all you're going to do is try to remake a classic, and more times than not, just make a shitty movie.
You're never going to achieve the same status, man. It's like trying to repaint the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
No.
But like I said, man, it doesn't mean you can't give it a try. And sometimes it works out. Sometimes it does. But even
not so much.
Even with Dawn of the Dead, the ones that we talked about that we liked, Dawn of the Dead, the Friday the 13th. For me, I did like Chainsaw Massacre. But let's be honest, do I need those remakes to like these franchises? Yeah. No. Absolutely not. It didn't make me want to be more of a fan.
Right.
If anything, it probably took away from the fandom, to be completely honest with you. Just to be completely honest with you.
You can even argue the fact for prequels in that as well.
There you go.
Yeah, no, Chainsaw was huge on. It was hard to keep up with that 2000s Chainsaw era because there were remakes, there was prequels,
out, man.
And there were sequels, and you didn't know which one went where. And
it was convoluted, bro. And
none of them. Is this a start over? Is Leatherface a start over? Is a continuation of these new sets? It's just.
Then you had the 3D one, and man, they all. I've not been able to watch any of them all the way through, other than the original remake and the original movies. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, brother, do you want to start thinking about going into some top threes here, or?
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Already?
Well, we're 90 minutes in,
well,
brother.
I'll tell you what. I know we've got some more movies to talk to, but I know we've got a special guest that was wanting to put out his top three.
Yes, we do, man. We actually have a call in from our man, Van Jordan. Van, man, he reached out to me, dude, maybe the first week we even started talking about doing this podcast. He was like, man, I'd really like to be a part of this thing. I'd really like to participate. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. So we talked a little bit, and he's really into horror movies as well.
Right.
And I brought it up to him. I said, hey, you like to maybe do a little call in? And he was down with it, man. So he sent us something today, and we're going to go ahead and play it. And then we'll be right back. So, Van, go ahead and take it away, brother.
Greetings, podcast listeners. This is Van the Man. Jason and Mike have asked me to give my top 3 favorite horror movies of all time, so here it goes. Coming in at number 3 is the 1985 Dan O'Bannon classic, Return of the Living Dead. This movie has it all, folks. It has horror, it has comedy, it has punk rockers, it has zombies. Hell, it even has Leanna Quigley doing a dance butt-ass naked on a grave. You can't ask for anything more than that. So if all those things sound appealing to you, give it a try. Coming in at number 2, we have the 1981 horror masterpiece from Sam Raimi, The Evil Dead. There was a remake, but we're talking about the original one here, folks. Bruce Campbell plays Ash, and he goes into the woods to a cabin with his best friends, and then horror ensues. They find a reel-to-reel and bring up the evil spirits, and they come to terrorize him and his friends. Everything, it's gore, it's evil spirits, it's mindfuck, there's even a tree rape scene. You can't get any more messed up than that, guys. So if all of that sounds good to you, and if you really love a good scare, then Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, is for you. So, we come to the number one spot. Now, the number one spot is actually the highest grossing horror movie of all time, and it's one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend go see this movie, or rent it, whatever. The Exorcist. The William Friedkin horror masterpiece, The Exorcist. Linda Blair got her start with this movie, and everything. I think this kind of messed her up after she made this movie, and I see why. If you've never seen it before, there are so many screwy things that happen in this movie. Ellen Burstyn plays her mother. Max von Sydow plays the father, plays the priest, is what I'm saying. It is terrifying. It's still one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. If you are a horror buff and you haven't seen this movie, you must see this movie to consider yourself a horror buff. So, in retrospect, we have Return of the Living Dead, Evil Dead, and The Exorcist. Those are my picks, top 3. I highly recommend them. I'm going to give some shout outs right now. My buddy John Philip Hodge, Filthy, love you, brother. Chris Walsey Wall, and Mr. Chris Mikado Lee. Love you guys. Take it easy, brothers.
All right, man, that was a great list, brother. And as you can see, his
Solid.
number one is also my number one. So we're not going to talk about The Exorcist too much anymore.
Right.
Because I think we can all agree, man, that's the gauge, man. That's the gold standard.
It is. It's very high up there. I know a lot with a lot of those, man. Especially like Evil Dead.
Oh, the Evil Dead is one we definitely got to bring up.
That is one that I remember the first time. And here's the thing. I know you remember this. Puzzleworks, you might remember this. You were a little later on, and a little younger than us. But going to the movie rental places,
Dude, yes, took the words out of my mouth.
That was a huge deal.
Because that cover.
The horror section, because usually, they had wrestling section.
Yeah. And usually right beside
the horror.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's the truth, man. Yes. Yeah. Once again.
Yeah.
Going back to that connection. Yeah.
That was a big deal, just going in there and looking at the horror cover boxes and trying to figure out which one you were going to go with next. Which movie you were going to look at.
Because we didn't know most of these movies.
No.
You don't know them.
No.
You're just looking at the artwork.
Right.
Now, we're not, obviously, Friday the 13th. You obviously know Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. But The Evil Dead was not really as mainstream as these.
Not.
And along with a lot of other horror movies, But, dude, that VHS cover, Mike, dude, that's classic.
That was essential.
Yes.
That was essential to everything. I think it's a lost, almost like, with movie posters as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That, I think that's one of the lost arts of horror.
I agree, because that was one thing about the horror movies back in that day, man, was the artwork.
Yeah,
because it was like
it was art.
It was art.
It was not photograph, pictures, anything like that. It was
these are custom works of art, man, for these movies. And there's something about that horror movie VHS cover style, in general. And The Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Yes.
Now, granted, I did like 1 better than 2. 2's great.
Right.
Don't even get me started on Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
That to me, that's not even really a horror movie as much as just a great.
Yeah.
I mean, Army of Darkness is definitely in that top 10, if not maybe higher as far as overall movies.
Yeah.
But dude, you're right, Mike. Just seeing that cover.
Oh God, that was essential. And here's the thing: you always took a gamble because you never knew.
You don't know.
It could have been a shitty movie.
Yeah, you
with
don't
a great
know.
cover.
Right. That happened a lot.
Yeah.
That happened a whole lot back in the day.
Or it'd been a great movie with a not so great cover that you kind of skipped over for a while until you actually kind of got to it.
Because you went through all the other cool covers, and oh hell, man, this one was great. But a movie that was great and had that great cover was The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
And man, once again, like Van was saying, it introduced us to that character of Ash.
Yeah.
You know, Bruce Campbell's most iconic character.
All right.
And let's face it, man.
Oh, see, okay, there you go. I asked a question earlier about a lone survivor.
Oh,
Male survivor during a horror movie. There you go.
Ash.
Ash would be right there, number one.
And Ash is one of those characters who was iconic. Ash is one of the few horror characters who was the good guy.
Yes.
Who gained that kind of iconic character status.
Yeah.
You know, he's up there with Freddy. He's up there with Jason.
Yeah.
He's up there with Leatherface. I mean, in fact, at one time they were
But
actually.
he could also be considered an anti-hero.
He is an anti-hero. Yes. He's cool as shit.
Yeah, definitely cool as shit. He's kind of out for himself.
And, yes, and he does.
Ultimately.
Yeah, man. And some of his dialogue, like, you know, now granted, not talking as much about Evil Dead Part 1, I'm thinking more about like Army of Darkness.
Uh-huh.
Dude, some of his dialogue, groovy. I mean, you say groovy, you
Give me
know.
some sugar, baby.
Give me some sugar, baby. That's it, bro. What's that
Hail
in
to
your
the
face?
king.
Yeah.
The what's that in your face?
Oh, gosh.
He gets the man.
Shoes are untied.
Yeah. This is my boomstick. These iconic.
Any of you primitive screws,
Yes.
lace a finger on me.
The next one of you.
Yeah.
Shop smart. Shop as smart. Once again, dude, and all this comes from, like I said, from Van's choice of Evil Dead. Great choice on that, Van. That, brother, I can't put that over enough. Let's talk about the other one, Return of the Living Dead. Now, this one didn't make my list as far as scary movies.
Right. But
as
still.
far horror and fun.
80s.
This movie.
Pure 80s fantastic horror.
Greatness, bro.
Yeah.
This is, now, man, when he's talking about the naked dance.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't watch that when I was a kid, man, until Mom and Dad went to bed.
Oh, no.
Now, I did sneak up and check it out.
That's right.
Once again, puberty's kicking in, bro. It's just like Van said, man, what more could you want?
Exactly.
Brother, that scene, that whole movie is just so ridiculous. But it's so good. It's so good.
It brought in a different zombie. The talking zombie.
The brains.
That they needed the brains for fuel.
Yes. Which is iconic.
And it brought in these whole new rules for zombies, you know, as far as, you know, okay, so not necessarily, you know, these things are going to die if you do certain things that were done before.
Yes.
You know, and,
yes.
You know, you can't burn them because guess what? It goes up into the air.
And it rains, and my God, we get more of it, you know.
That is crazy.
That's awesome, man. And some of the dialogue, even with the zombies,
it's
phenomenal, man. It's phenomenal.
One we were talking about earlier that runs along that same line was Chud.
We were actually talking about that outside during the break, you know. Now, I have not seen Chud since I was a kid, but I remember I loved that movie. There was something about that movie.
It was so good.
There's so much of it I don't even remember.
So
it was so awesome, though. And, you know, man, we can just...
And it did come off because, you know, I know you probably saw, like, the TV spots and ads for it.
Oh,
you know,
oh, yeah.
And it came off scarier than what the actual movie was.
It was really more camp.
Yes.
Than anything. It was almost a comedy.
Yeah.
And in fact, you know, I would almost go on the ledge and say Return of the Living Dead is a horror comedy in itself. But once again, dude, I love Van bringing this one up because, to be completely honest with you, and this is just going to kind of be I'm telling on myself right now, I wouldn't have brought this one up.
Right.
I wouldn't have. It's because to me it wasn't as scary and horrific as much. It was just fun.
Yeah.
But man, this is a top movie as far as that genre goes. I think once again, Van, great list, bro.
For sure.
And that one was great. And you know,
talking about the horror comedy, and you know this movie as well as I do, is one of my favorites. That runs a lot even further than just a horror comedy. It's like almost like a straight comedy with a little horror sprinkled in on top of it. Was the Saturday the 14th movie?
Oh shit, bro! I have not watched that movie in years.
Yeah.
That was tremendous.
I
I
love
love that movie, man. I haven't thought
Everything
about
that.
that.
Thing is just
Oh, dude.
so good.
That one, man, that one just completely missed my radar. I have not watched that. I swear to God, it had to be from the 90s or 80s since I've seen it. Yeah, I was just talking about last time I watched it.
Oh, okay.
Probably
Right.
the 90s. I think, man, it seems like I did watch it in the early 2000s. It seems like I came across a copy online and watched it. And dude, it's phenomenal. But good call on that one, brother. Good call.
So good. You know, Jeffrey Tambor was in that movie from Arrested Development.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So funny.
Dude, that entire movie, man.
He's got the vampire. They're both vampires. He got the vampire wife.
Yeah.
Her
Right.
Her name is Yolanda. Funny.
It's all good, man. Yeah, funny as hell, dude.
Funny. Everything about that movie is just so good.
It is great.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, let me ask you, brother. I know we kind of starting to push toward the end here. And I know me and you, and I guess Puzzlers as well, we all have our top 3 horror movies. Obviously, I've already spoiled mine. But, you know, Mike, I'm going to do a swerve on you, bro.
Okay.
You're about to get swerved.
Oh, God.
You're getting swerved in the PUDcast.
Oh, man, I knew this was coming.
I'm going to swerve you, motherfucker.
I was wondering when this was coming.
You're getting swerved, and let me tell you why, man. You know, let's go back in time.
Okay.
We bring Wayne Sisk on. Because Wayne Sisk is an expert, man. Nobody can do better than Wayne Sisk when it comes to Warren Zevon and other musical greats. Wayne Sisk show took us to another level. We bring in the Reverend Doctor. Who else is going to be able to talk about conspiracy theories better than the Reverend, man? Nobody, bro. Nobody. That includes me, you, and Pudsworth all together. Who else can talk about horror movies better than the one and only Mike Payne, brother?
Oh, my God.
So I got a top 3 threes for you, my friend.
I thought you were going to bring out a character.
Oh, no. I got top 3 threes for you, brother.
All right.
So my first of my top 3,
Okay.
your top 3 horror movie characters.
Wow.
Now, it doesn't have to be the murderer or the villain. It can be a good guy or good girl as well.
All right.
Your top 3 horror movie characters.
Okay. Wow, that's
Putting you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, that is tough.
But you the man, bro. You the horror man. So we got to get this on tape.
Okay. Let's see. I would have to say, definitely. I would have to say, okay. Reggie Bannister from Phantasm.
Oh, dude, we didn't talk about Phantasm today.
Oh, we will.
We're getting there.
We will.
We're getting there.
Oh, certainly we will. Let's see. Oh God, I just had it in my mind too. I was just thinking about that. Oh boy. The Edwin Sawyer. From the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The
original.
The cook.
The cook. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the cook.
Oh, okay.
Everything he did, man, in that movie is still I love, and the second movie as well.
Yeah.
I love listening everything he does talk.
Great
and just
dialogue. Great. Yeah.
fantastic. And I say as far as characters, I'm gonna have to put it on Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That's a great top choice,
For
brother.
sure.
Great top choice.
Yeah.
What's your top 3 franchises? Horror franchises.
Okay. You can go back to Phantasm,
Okay.
Halloween,
All right.
and last pick will probably be tough. But I would have to say, wow, that is tough.
There's a lot to choose from, brother.
It is. I would have to say the Dead series.
The Dead?
As far as Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
And obviously, man, the number 3 is just your top 3 horror. Your top 3 horror movies.
Let's see. Obviously, the first Phantasm.
Phantasm 1. Great movie.
We're talking about Phantasm. Here we go.
Yeah, here we are, man.
We knocked it out. Let's see. Actually, I did actually write these down, so I wouldn't forget about these. Blair Witch.
Okay.
Just because I
That's-
still think that was probably one of the best movies done with what it had to do with
Phenomenal.
with what they had, and just creatively, it was just incredible.
It was very, very
Yeah.
innovative, man.
Yes.
It definitely set a standard.
Definitely. And I have to say for the third one, believe it or not, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, no, the first one. The first one was the best one. But no, Halloween 2, the original, for me is the... There's something about that movie that always gets me.
Yep.
It just gives me that feeling.
Halloween.
Just that Halloween feeling.
Yeah. And once again, it's one of those quintessential, just Michael Myers movies. I love the second one. A lot of people kind of hate on it.
They do.
And I don't get it. And I do like the first one better. I will admit, man, if I had to go between one or two, if I had a choice,
Right.
you can only watch one of these movies, then I'm going to probably say Halloween 1.
To me, it's two, for sure. If I'm going to pick one to watch, it's definitely two. I think it's a lot of it, believe it or not, well, just the Myers character. I love Myers in that movie. That movie, to me, Myers was better
as
in
Michael
that one
Myers.
than the first one. Yeah,
Right,
for
right.
sure. A lot of the characters in it, I love a lot of those characters. There were a lot more characters in it.
Yes.
But, Bud, the ambulance driver.
I was just about to bring him
Oh,
up.
dude.
Yes.
Oh, he's just the pot smoking womanizer. He is fantastic in that movie.
And when he
So
gets killed,
funny.
you're kind of glad.
Damn.
It's like, well, I was kind of like, well, get that
Really?
motherfucker out of here.
I was just like, man, no, he was so funny.
It's like, let him live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that songy song.
Yeah.
But I was ready for to see him go, man.
But Dr. Loomis in that too.
That's right.
Just I love Donald Pleasance.
I was going to say, man.
Still one. Oh, my God.
He put so much into that role.
Yeah. Oh, there you go again. The male survivors.
Yeah.
Through that whole series, Dr. Sam Loomis.
Yeah, and you also still had the Jamie Lee Curtis character,
Still
Laurie
on-
Strode,
Yep.
who also survives,
Right.
and who also. So you have the old frazzled, older man, and you have the young.
They're kind of like Van Helsing to Michael.
Bro, that's a hell of a comparison. I like that.
Yeah, it's always
That's it.
On the chase and trying to get him. But one of the best things I loved about that movie, I love the original soundtrack from the original.
Sure.
But this one with the synth.
Oh yeah, they kind of upgraded the music a little bit,
Oh,
kind of like
my
we
God.
got upgraded this
Right,
week.
exactly.
Yeah, went
That's
up a
what I'm
level.
saying. Exactly. The synth music in that with the Halloween theme is just, I think it's the best.
Well, Mike, I want to go ahead and put it on tape right now because I wanted to talk a little bit about music in horror movies, but I think we could do a podcast.
Oh, for sure.
Strictly on that. So let's go.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and put that down on the list of podcasts to come in the future. We're going to do a list or a podcast just on music and horror movies because, man, that one is a great example. Well, hey, Pudsworth, do you have a top 3?
Texas will be the first one.
Chainsaw Massacre,
Second
good
will
one.
be Phantasm.
Good.
And Razorback will be the third one because
Razorback.
yeah, because it scared me as a kid and it stuck in my head. It was
I'm not familiar.
I
I'm not familiar with
remember
that one.
and
Yeah,
I was talking earlier.
that movie's just,
That was one of the ones I remember
I was-
that got you.
yeah,
Was that Razorback?
Cujo.
Now it's an Australian horror movie. Kind of like one of those when animal attacks. movies.
Yeah,
Kinda
yeah.
like
Yeah.
we said, Cujo and
Right.
those
The
other
birds we
movies.
talked about earlier.
Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was this ginormous Razorback. I guess
Boar,
what
pig,
they call it, boar, pig,
yeah,
hog.
wild hog, yeah.
And I remember seeing it, and my sister and I would watch it a lot, during the summers that we had out of school. But yeah, that was one of those ones that was, wow, this is a great movie. But apparently it had a totally different effect on you because
Yeah.
it scared the shit out of you
I was about
for a long time.
I was a little kid. Yeah, I was like, man, like the American War in London scared out of me until I was older.
That was a good one
I was
too,
like,
man.
okay.
Yeah.
The Pet Cemetery too still kind of creeps me out.
Pudsworth still ain't ate bacon, man. Pudsworth like, no pork for me, man.
Nope,
But
not
dude,
doing it.
but we were talking about these animal movies, dude. We didn't bring up Jaws.
Jeez.
Fuck, man. Well, I mean,
See, it's such a hard.
that one is a hard one to
That one is a hard one to classify.
yeah. It's hard to put the
And
genre.
there are several movies like that.
Yeah, because you can be considered maybe more of an action, but it's scary as shit.
Right.
There's so much
Yeah.
tension. Well, man, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, dude. This is part 1.
Yeah, because I knew we
Dude,
were going to overlook a
We
lot.
miss so
There's
much.
so much.
And there's definitely, even to go into more detail, the stuff we have talked about, like Phantasm, man. I want to go back and really dig in Phantasm. We'll definitely have a part 2.
That would definitely, Phantasm, I think, would definitely need its
just its own.
Yeah.
We could do its
Yeah.
own. Well, let me give you my top 3, man. Now,
Yes.
I got to give at least one honorable mention because this one was so close to breaking my top 3. And we haven't talked about it today. Poltergeist. I
Oh, absolutely.
love
Yeah.
Now, you talk about watching a movie when I was younger. You know, I
Yeah.
always got little stories to
Yeah.
kind of go with these situations. Well, my cousin's wife. Now, she was more like my aunt because she was older. You know, she was probably in her 20s or something. I was still fairly young. You know, I was
Yeah.
probably 10, 11. Well, I got to go over there and hang out sometimes. She would babysit me. And she would let me watch movies that mom and dad maybe wouldn't let me watch.
Right.
Or, you know, if there was a naked lady I could look, you know, she wouldn't maybe turn away, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, one of the movies that we had was Poltergeist.
Okay.
And, you know, this movie, as far as horror movies goes, is probably one of the more family friendly overall.
Yeah.
Even though there is some really intense scenes in this movie. Bro, it scared the shit out of me.
Really?
And I loved it. To this
Yeah.
day,
Oh,
it's number 4, man. It's number 4.
Yeah.
And it barely misses my top 3. So
Right.
I just want to throw that one out there.
It is. It was a great movie.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that movie for the first time, and definitely the little clown scene
Oh.
is where it really sets off.
Oh,
But
that dude peels his face off, bro.
that was tough.
That's what
Well,
got me.
The maggots in the steak.
That was rough.
That
man.
was nasty.
Oh.
But I remember in the kids' room,
Oh.
I was picking apart because I would see like the different Star
Oh, the
Wars
Star Wars
toys.
characters, yeah,
in
and I
the
think his
background.
bedspread may
Yeah.
have been Star Wars
And it
as
was
well.
like-
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's cool. You know, and I think it distracted me more, and then I got that hit with that clown. It's like, oh shit! But apparently, you know, that was a whole Spielberg Lucas thing to where it's like, yeah, hey, you know,
They put little things in,
yeah,
man.
from each other.
And to my knowledge, well, no, I was going to say to my knowledge, this was the only horror movie Steven Spielberg's ever done. I know he's done some more scarier stuff like Jurassic Park. You know, would be considered a thriller.
Well, let's talk about that.
Is there
Let's
any
talk
more?
about Gremlins.
Dude, how in the hell did I forget Gremlins? It's without a doubt my favorite Christmas movie. We'll get to that.
And that's,
We'll get
that's
to
the
that at
thing.
Christmas.
I know. And it
I love
was
fucking Gremlins.
because it wasn't marketed as a horror
It
movie.
really, no, it wasn't. It was more of a fantasy adventure, but it's really scary.
Yeah.
Man, that microwave scene. And, dude, when I was a kid, my mom took me to the theater, and we didn't
Yep.
go to a lot of movies, man. So when we did go to a movie, it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And I tell you, dude, when she did that microwave scene, I loved it. I don't know why. I was like, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, dude, that son of a bitch blew up.
Yeah.
But man, when it was in the tree, the Christmas tree,
Uh-huh.
that scared the shit out
Really?
of me, man. When it like
That
scratched
one
the
got
mom.
you. Yeah.
Oh man, I about shit myself.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Right, right.
But to me, man, no, I know we're going to talk Christmas. We actually got some pretty cool stuff
Yeah.
lined up for Christmas coming up. But in my opinion, my favorite Christmas movie of all time is Gremlins.
Wow.
You know?
Okay.
But so
But
my
no, because they're, like I said, they market it towards kids.
kids, yeah.
I remember getting at Hardee's the record storybook.
Oh yeah, dude, I remember that.
Yeah, I think we still got some
Yeah.
at the house.
I remember those,
Yeah.
dude. I think I had one or
Yeah,
yeah,
it came out with like 4, so this was definitely pushed
for
to
children.
kids.
Well, look at the toys
Yeah.
that were coming out, man. I mean, Gizmo himself
Yeah.
was a toy.
Yeah.
You know, was a stuffed animal. You know, and
Right.
it was dude, but it was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it had some really heavy themes in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So you know, I definitely want to get Poltergeist in there. So my top 3, and I guess I'll start from my third up. Halloween 1.
Right.
You know, dude, there was something about that first one, Michael Myers. It was so tense.
Yeah.
You know, definitely iconic.
Yeah.
You know, number 2, I gotta go with the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm kind of basic, bro. I'm
Right.
not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm kind
yeah.
of basic with stuff. You know,
Classics are classics.
it's
man.
mainstream, man. But dude, that movie, I loved it. I remember because I was at that age to where I was old enough not to get really scared, but I was still young enough to where I could be scared.
Yeah.
You know, but I really got off on the first one. I remember that was one of the first horror movies because Freddy scared me in that first one
Right.
because he wasn't campy yet. He had a good little sense of humor, and I got a sense of humor myself, and I kind of like that
Yeah.
aspect of a character. So he really kind of appealed to me. He had charisma, let's put it
Yeah.
like that. And man, number 1, obviously Exorcist, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie just
Yeah.
affected me, and I mean, I can go back. The one
It
scene,
affected me so bad I wouldn't even put it on the
yeah,
list.
right? Right. I was like, nope, I ain't even writing that shit down,
Fuck
man.
this. Fuck this movie.
No, I ain't got
This movie,
nothing to do with this shit.
No, man.
But
No.
I tell you, the one part of the movie, and I know there's so many parts, but you know when the little subliminal message, or like the little flash of the demon's face, That dude, because the first time I saw it, I'm like, hey man, that's demonic. I thought like
It was.
it was demonic. I mean, it was
It
almost
was.
because
It
dude, this
still is.
and this was around about the time, man, when I went back and was watching it again. You know, the whole like backward masking stuff
Right.
had been
that
out and
was-
about with Ozzy and Judas
Yeah,
Priest.
That was
You know,
huge at that
we're sticking
time.
little things into these
Kiss.
movies. Yeah, yes, man. And you see this little subliminal, this little flash of this demon's face that had nothing to do with the scene. Oh shit, man! Did I just get possessed?
Oh my
I mean,
God,
really,
no.
man, it makes you wonder.
Look
like,
away,
oh,
look
fuck,
away,
yeah,
look
yeah,
away,
man,
look
yeah,
away,
no,
look away.
man. Call the
Mama,
priest. Mama,
Mama,
Mama, get in here. Turn this shit off, man.
Mama, the devil on TV.
But man, dude, and that's why that son of a bitch is my favorite.
Let me tell you a funny story about that. We saw, and this is another one, the first time we saw it, because this hit the theaters, I think in what, 70, I want to say 76, 77 is the first open.
Oh, dude, that's a great movie too,
It was
man.
a great movie.
I know
First
we're
up.
missing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
I
we're
mean,
missing
there's
so
so
many.
much. But we, I remember we saw it, my sister and I, 'cause we were huge in just watching horror movies of all kinds.
Right.
Well, they're out. Friday 13th, all that stuff. But I remember we saw this one on TV for the first time. And it's got this little dialogue at the very beginning, or the end. I can't remember. It may have been the end of the movie. To where, the number of the beast is 666. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. My sister's very young at this point. We probably shouldn't be watching this anyway.
Like most of these movies,
Yeah, most of these movies, we probably shouldn't be. But she gets the idea that you have to call this number on telephone. Because, at that time, numbers during commercials and on TV were a big deal.
Yeah, right.
You saw it every time. Call this number, blah, blah, blah. Call this number, blah, blah, blah. So she saw that, and my mom flipped out.
It got scary for real.
Yeah. Because she was about to dial 666 on the telephone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I'm just sitting over here. I'm laughing.
It's like, don't call that. You're going to call the devil.
Yeah. Mama.
Mama.
Oh, Missy's trying to call the devil.
I'm hanging the phone up. How much is that shit per minute?
Oh, my God. Could you imagine the cost on that?
$6.66 for the first 6 minutes.
Long distance.
Motherfucker.
Interdimensional.
How far south did you call? Florida? Hell.
Close.
close. Do you goddamn. Well, guys.
Don't get any deeper south.
South in hell.
In hell.
Jacksonville's pushing it. But,
Wow.
well, guys, man, this has been fun. Man, this has been another great one. I guess we ought to start wrapping it up, man. We're pushing right at 2 hours. So, I guess, does anyone, you guys got anything you want to say before
Igor, back to the coffin.
Well, hey, Pudsworth, once again, brother, thanks for coming up, man, helping us out, brother. You, dude, we put your ass to work today, man.
Yeah,
God damn, dude.
Well, this is just a busy, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a busy episode. We could probably went 6 hours on this thing.
Dude, easily. Like I
Yeah.
said, this is absolutely part one. I mean,
Yeah.
part two will be coming up. Maybe next year, man. Who knows? Maybe we can do it between now and next Halloween.
I
I mean,
never know.
brother, there's enough content out there to do several parts.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have as many episodes as there are Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still climbing.
We could probably do this every day.
Every day, and not run
get,
out.
Not get caught up.
No, and for here on, man,
Right.
for years.
But for us to do that, you're gonna have to take and do one thing for us. You're gonna have to subscribe.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel,
You're
people.
gonna have to like it.
Come on,
You're
share
gonna
it.
have to share.
Subscribe it, man.
Everything.
Let people know about
Get
it.
us out there, man.
We
And if
want
you need
that.
commercials done for your business or
Let me
organization,
know, man.
let us know.
We can do it. We can do it.
Absolutely.
You've heard the GameSwap commercial for 100 years now.
absolutely.
You
We've
can
got
have
another one coming
we
up.
got one in the works.
Yes.
So definitely, man, reach out to us, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you're out there listening, thank you. But definitely help us spread the word. We want to get that 100 subscribers. That's our first big goal, because we've got a show lined up that, guys, y'all are going to love it. We're over here. We really want you guys to subscribe and get these numbers up so we can do this show.
Yes.
Because we're over here
Yeah.
like, God damn it, man. But we can't waver. We cannot say, okay, we're going to do it anyway.
Right.
No, we're going to hold on to this show until we get that 100 subscribers.
Right.
We're staying true to that. So help us out, and thank you for continuing to help us out, man. We appreciate all
Absolutely.
the support.
Thank you all.
Thank all you guys. Well, man, if you guys don't have anything you want to say, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap her up for this week. Once again, y'all, this has been a fun one. This has been fun. And, you know, have a happy Halloween. We'll definitely be back between now and Halloween. But this is kind of our Halloween episode, you know. So we want to throw that out there. But we'll definitely be back next week. And until then, y'all have a good one.
And not only that, David, I understand we're right at the end of our program.
No, we have got to go.
This has been a great event.
There's some people out there that hate us for this.